Well, if they were supporting him back then, they probably would have stayed in the Polo Grounds.
I think they drew about 400,000 the last year they played in the Polo Grounds.
Al Leiter making his 19th start. Leiter winner of 7 out of his last 8 decisions. And most significantly, I think the fact that since he came off the disabled list after being injured against the Yankees, he's picked up and pitched very effectively. The Mets have won all 3 of the games that Leiter has pitched since then. And now it'll be Sean Dunston in his second go-around as a San Francisco Giant, leading off. And a fastball from Leiter, 0-1.
Dunston no longer can play shortstop. He's playing center field for the Giants, and they feel he's much better off in the outfield than he is in the infield now.
Hasn't done much with Leiter over his career, and he pulls him foul. So quickly 0-2 to Sean Dunston.
He was drafted ahead, as you look at Al Leiter, of Doc Gooden in the draft. And what Herzog said about that, why shouldn't he have been? He had a better arm than Doc Gooden.
Well, he had a great arm.
He had one of the greatest throwing arms of all time.
And a breaking ball, did he go around? That's the question, but no, according to Jim Quick. Remember how Mark Grace, when he was playing first base for the Cubs, used to feel the sting of those Dunston throws?
He used to flinch when Dunston threw across the infield. Here's that last pitch. Dunston checking his swing. Mike Piazza peeling.
So 1 ball and 2 strikes now on Sean Dunston. And the fastball away, evens the count.
Throughout his career, Dunston was a pretty good offensive player. If he had any Achilles heel at the plate, it was striking out.
He was born in Brooklyn and went to Thomas Jefferson High School. His senior year, he batted .790 in high school.
And slider misses, so now the count full.
I don't care what league it is. That's tough. .790.
He had some reputation going for him and was drafted #1 in the nation by the Cubs.
I asked him, was it a lot of pressure to be drafted #1 in the nation? He said no. Where I grew up, there was a lot of pressure. I'll never forget that. It was on a post-game show, and I asked him that question. Where I grew up was a lot of pressure.
He is the highest drafted player that was born and lived in New York in the history of New York.
And the payoff pitch, he checked his swing, and it's a comebacker. Leiter throws out Dunston, 1 man away.
Well, defensively, for the Mets backing up Leiter, you see Lopez, his 12th start at short. He's joined by Alfonso, Baerga, and Olerud in the infield. Hundley, McRae, and Phillips left to right in the outfield. Piazza behind the plate. Mike Piazza was telling me before the ball game he will probably sit on Thursday, take a day off. As you look at Luis Lopez, who never wants a day off. Why would you need a day off if you play in the infield or the outfield?
You're saying that as a catcher.
Absolutely. A day off for a catcher is moving to first base for the day.
Ellis Burks has already talked about wanting to stay in San Francisco long term since being acquired last week from the Colorado Rockies.
He said there's a lot of unrest with the Colorado Rockies in the clubhouse and in the front office.
He had .286 this year for Colorado with 16 home runs in 100 games. Now playing for Dusty Baker.
He's got to be one of the more animated managers in baseball. When something happens on the field, he wears it on his sleeve.
I'm just enthralled by that toothpick. You've always liked the guys who sport toothpicks. UL Washington, Dusty Baker.
Better than dental floss. Imagine having dental floss hanging out of your mouth.
How about Toothpick Jones? Great pitcher.
3-1 now to Burks as Leiter falls behind with Barry Bonds on deck. Outfielder Darrell Hamilton, a minor league pitcher and a player to be named later, went to Colorado. And there's Bonds in that robo gear it is on deck. And the breaking ball missed. So a 1-out walk to Burks, and that'll bring up Barry Bonds.
Batting third, number 25, left fielder Barry Bonds.
Had an opportunity the other day to talk to Tony Gwynn, and he raves about Barry Bonds. Thinks he's the best player in the National League. This guy works out 5 hours a day, 5 days a week. He told me that people have told him out there, you might be working out too much. Can't keep anybody happy today.
Well, as Burks back to first base, Olerud playing in front of the runner with the left-hander Leiter on the mound. Bond's not having a great year by Bond standards. 277 average, 21 homers, 76 RBIs, but his body of work suggests that if it's an off year, it's either aberrational or not very far off.
Those are pretty good stats right there. 395 with a home run, 436 stolen bases. He said that sets him apart from Ken Griffey Jr., although if you watch Ken Griffey Jr. now, he's trying to steal more bases. And you watch Barry Bonds, Ralphie has that short stride. He gets right up on top of the plate.
Very compact. And he chokes up in the bat. At Shea Stadium, his lifetime average is 254 with 9 home runs. He has never hit well here.
Although he's a player that I think could play here in New York. He's got one of those personalities. Now, he's not going to talk very often to the media, and he remains focused.
Speaking of talking, Sandy Alderson, the Oakland GM.
And they turn to Olerud to Lopez. Back to Olerud, a double play. So Bonds hits into the 3-6-3 and the inning's over. No runs, no hits, a walk to Burks. He's erased on this double play. And at least north of L.A., Fresno. Tom Seaver territory, Bobby Jones country. But it's ball 1 to Tony Phillips leading off 4 New York.
That story Sandy Alderson said about Bonds when he signed a $22.9 million contract extension. That wasn't his salary, that was a bribe to keep his mouth shut. They'll do the salary later. He says some unbelievable things.
Tony Phillips building those numbers on a composite between his time in Toronto and with the Mets. Here in New York, he's 2 for 12. Let off, though, each of the last 2 games with extra base hits. Last night doubling just inside the first base bag. Takes in the dirt. 2 balls and a strike.
Ralph, you go back a long way to see a hitch like Tony Phillips, the way he brings that bat all the way down to his knees.
That is the old style of hitting. Walker Cooper, Bob Elliott, out of old-timers, Jimmy Fox.
Hobbled by Joe Carter, but a good job by Gardner getting over. So 1 out here in the Mets' first. Phillips retired. Let's take a look at the rest of the New York batting order. Edgardo Alfonzo bats second and plays third base with John Olerud on a 17-game hitting streak at first base batting third. Mike Piazza in the cleanup spot. Brian McRae in center. Notice Todd Hundley dropped down to 6th in the order as he continues to struggle at the plate. Carlos Baerga bats 7th. Ray Ordonez with the flu. Felt he could play, but Lopez playing at shortstop in his stead, and Al Leiter on the mound.
Here's the hitch that Tony Phillips employs, and Ralph, you hit it on the nose. I saw old footage of Lou Gehrig, and he did that. Well, you got to get those hands back up there.
Well, you got to get the hands back up. Got to come back up to where they were, or you're in deep trouble.
That's got to be one of the biggest hitches from up to down in all of baseball.
1-2 now on Alfonzo. He's never had a hit against Gardner. Only 5 at-bats against him, but he struggled on this homestand. Alfonzo did have the game-winning hit in Saturday night's game against Jeff Shaw of the Dodgers. Here he goes the other way. Now as Burks lines it up. So quickly, 2 outs here in the Mets' first.
Batting third, number 5, first baseman John Olerud.
And defensively for the Giants, Sean Dunson, first career start in center field, but the Giants feel he has a future there. He's joined by Bonds and Burks. In the infield, Hayes, Aurelia, Kent, and Carter. Joe Carter at first base, and Brent Maine behind the plate. Joe Carter coming over from the Baltimore Orioles.
John Olerud takes a strike on the outside corner. So John's second in the National League batting race with that .338 average. And again, he's on a 17-game hitting streak. Little looper, and you can make that 18. So John Olerud keeps the longest hitting streak of the National League alive. He's now hit in 18 consecutive games.
Brought a smile to his face after he rounded first base. He didn't hit the ball hard, but he hit it where he needed to hit it. How about this guy here, Ralph? Yesterday, he hit a ball off the Diamond Vision sign during batting practice. Right off the Diamond Vision screen.
Well, Piazza is hitting .333 as a Met. 10 home runs, 28 runs batted in, with 59 games behind him.
Takes ball one, and yet continues to hear it from the crowd after unproductive at-bats. I mean, tonight's a perfect example. They cheer him at the start of every game. It's if he leaves runners on base that the fans start venting some hostilities. As much as they have a right to do it. You know, it's hard to make sense sometimes out of how much to expect from a guy who's in an uncertain situation. And everybody who's watched him swing, Ralph, Fran, Keith Hernandez last night, all seem to be in agreement that he's pressing, trying too hard.
I think it's a sign of respect. Here in New York, you had Mickey Mantle. From what I recall, Mickey Mantle was booed a lot here in New York.
Oh, yeah. Everybody that plays here gets that, but that's not any different in Boston or Philadelphia or Pittsburgh.
Oh, they're louder boos. There's more people here.
Well, that might be true.
Inside 3-1. The only time Piazza was booed with the Dodgers is when he rejected their contract offer earlier this year. Then that became the focus of every step he took at Dodger Stadium, and the fans turned on him.
He was loved in Dodger Stadium.
And he also, he took a half-page ad out in the LA Times to thank the Dodger fans for the support they gave him when he was traded away to Florida.
Well, Mark Gardner, who throws a lot of breaking stuff, didn't give in to Piazza, instead walked him on a 3-1 pitch. So now runners at first and second, 2 out, and Brian McRae, a pretty hot hitter, will be in a position to get the Mets an early lead. 22 hits in his last 60 at-bats, covering 13 games for McRae.
You know what's impressive about McRae in this streak he's in? 48 of his 96 base hits this year have been extra base hits. That is good.
Doubles and the triples, that's 32. Add up the home runs, and you have the same number of extra base hits as singles. This is Mark Gardner, too. You know, he works slowly, deliberate, throws a lot of breaking stuff, not going to overpower you. He has had lots of first inning problems over the course of his career. And right here, he's 1-2 on McRae.
Lifetime record is 65 wins and 64 losses, and lifetime against the Mets 5-5.
Talk about his first inning problems. His ERA in the first inning, as you see there, the 4th highest of any active pitcher. That's his career, not just this year. And the breaking ball sits outside, 2-2.
His best win total over the course of one season in the major leagues has been 12. He did it 3 times. He did it in 92, 96, and 97.
Two to McRae, wasted foul.
I remember the Giants years ago when they used to come in here to Shea Stadium when I was at the Giants. This place was packed for Willie Mays.
They had a few other supporters on that lineup there.
Well, Willie was a huge favorite here in New York.
There's no doubt about that, but they had Willie McCovey, who never played in New York.
And McRae called out on strikes. So Mark Gardner, after getting the first 2, allows a single, a walk, but gets McRae looking in at the end of 1 here in Flushing. No score. Second inning, the weather's been magnificent over the past few days at Shea Stadium during this homestand, which continues tomorrow night. And Thursday afternoon, we'll have the rest of it for you here on Fox Sports New York. As former Met Jeff Kent takes ball 1 from Al Leiter to start the second inning. Kent, Charlie Hayes, and Joe Carter against Leiter.
Oh.
Jeff Kent's been his old feisty self lately. Tommy Lasorda, now the GM, of course, of the Dodgers, guaranteed recently that the Dodgers would take the wild card over the Giants. Kent says, if we don't make the playoffs, I'll be eating dinner with Lasorda. I'll even buy the guy dinner. I wonder if Jeff knows how much that can cost him.
He's pretty heavy in that knife from fourth leg.
Tommy.
Tommy is, yeah.
Tommy looked good. He was here the past 4 days. Said he was to some great Italian restaurants here in New York.
Ball 4. And on 4 pitches, Leiter walks Jeff Kent.
Batting fifth, number 13.
Got to keep a close shave, especially with Butch Husky's bat, and it's not going to be utilized in anger for another couple of weeks.
Shaving the handle of the bat, trying to get comfortable with that handle.
Musial would order the S2 model, which has a very thin handle, and then shave it down.
Mays would have ordered that. Musial, I thought, had his own model. M110, no?
No, he used S2 most of the time until he broke the contract with Louisville.
Charlie Hayes grounds to Lopez. Baerga to Olerud, and for the second inning in a row, the Mets have turned a double play. The Leiter's gotten the ground balls when he's needed them.
When you take a look at Leiter's stuff, you have to wonder why he hasn't been in a 20-win range for years. And I guess his biggest problem has been his control. But he has excellent stuff.
Joe Carter now back in the National League with the San Francisco Giants. Fastball inside. Carter picked up from the Baltimore Orioles a little over a week ago for right-hand pitcher Darren Blood. Carter broke into the National League with the Chicago Cubs 15 years ago. Now, is he a Hall of Famer?
He's got some great stats.
If Orlando Cepeda and Tony Perez, for example, I don't have all the numbers in front of me to perpetuate this argument, but if Cepeda, Perez are not Hall of Famers, how can Joe Carter be? Line softly over Alfonso. I mean, some people will offer that Joe Carter won a World Series with a home run. Well, so did Bill Mazeroski, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He might belong in the Hall of Fame. Bill Mazeroski is a middle infielder, Ralph. I know you like those home runs.
He was a great defensive player. Probably the best double play man around. Got rid of the ball faster than anybody I ever saw.
But to get in the Hall of Fame, the only thing they really check is statistics, offensive statistics. They stay away from the defense.
All right, so what about this guy then?
Carter,
you put him in?
Yeah, he's got very good stats.
You don't have a vote, though.
Well, I'm going to get one. I'm going to get one tomorrow. Where do you get them?
About 50 feet to our left in the press box. 0-1 to Brent Maine.
Baseball writers vote, and if they don't vote you in, I guess if you have a certain percentage, then you become eligible for the Veterans Committee.
That is true, yes.
Maine lines it towards the left field line, but that hook's foul. And so now it's 0-2 to Brent Maine.
There's Joe Carter's career numbers. Now, will his average keep him out?
Well, those numbers, you know, again, without having committed Cepeda's and Perez's to memory, they're no better than
I don't think he's got a chance.
I think he's got to get over the 400 mark with the home runs if he's going to.
If he can do that, he has a slight chance.
Yeah, because he's got the 259 batting average. What about Darrell Evans? Talking about numbers.
He was really up there in home runs.
Yeah.
I would not vote for Joe Carter for the Hall of Fame. At least not until Perez and Cepeda get in there ahead of him.
Howard just set us up, Ralph.
That's an opinion.
Put us out there on a limb and cut it off.
No, Ralph's with me.
Oh, I'm on a limb.
You're out there by yourself.
Floating without the oar.
Get the 400, Joe. I'm put you in.
Carter's running, but he can keep running. We'll have to run back to first base either way because Maine is down on strikes. Live on stage. Give me that ticket master number one more time. 212-307-7171.
Treat that with respect, Howie. Elvis Presley.
You know how close you and the King were. 2-0 to Hundley.
He's a huge baseball fan. He was a big guy at the end, no matter how you look at it.
Now, Todd Hundley's Been a big player of the Met lineup over the last few years, but the way he struggled since coming off the DL, now he's been dropped down to the 6th spot in the batting order, even with a right-hand pitcher. He's hardly played at all against left-handers so far, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes on Todd.
Well, the reason for being dropped down is the fact that McRae has been hot and Hundley has not.
To the shortstop, Aurelia. And from the grass, he throws out Hundley. So 1 gone in the Mets' second. Todd's struggles continue. Carlos Baerga will be next, and he's been swinging a productive bat lately. Mets and Giants, first of a 3-game series. Giants starting play a 1.5 games in front of the Mets in the wild card chase. Chicago Cubs playing at home tonight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Baerga 9 hits and 20 at-bats over his last 6 games. Get back up over 280. Baerga now at 284 on the year. The sinking fastball from Mark Gardner misses.
Mets have been a roller coaster type team with their team batting average.
Line deep to right field. Burks to the warning track, and it's off the wall in play. Baerga on his way to second, and he's in with a 1-out double. He did not miss a home run by much, and he's still not convinced that it didn't clear the top of the wall. But it is a double for Baerga.
Oh, he just throws the head of the bat down there and takes that ball and drives it off the wall in right field. I thought it had a shot at going over the wall, but it stayed in, hits the wall, and gets past Burks on the rebound, allowing Baerga to get into second base. It would have been close if he played it cleanly off the wall.
Had it hit those flags commemorating previous Mets championships, it would have been a home run, because those flags, or that padding, is set back 3 feet beyond the fence out there. It used to be 341 down the line. Now it's 338. 1-1 to Lopez. And generally speaking, any ball that hits that padding drops down over the fence. Two and 1 now to Luis Lopez.
In May, the Mets had the best batting average as a team in the National League at 281. They had the worst in the National League in June, 225, and the second best in July at 285. They have really been on a roller coaster.
Lopez pops it up. The shortstop Aurelia now yields to Bonds. And there are 2 men away. Let's bring up the pitcher, Al Leiter.
Pitcher Al Leiter.
The Mets have had a man in scoring position each of the first 2 innings. Phillips will hope for an at-bat here in the second. Off-speed pitch hits the outside corner, 0-1. With 4 hits this year, 34 trips to the plate. And the fastball, 0-2. And that's on the outside corner, so on 3 pitches. Gardner strikes out Leiter. 3rd inning, no score. Giants will have 8, 9, and 1 in their batting order. The shortstop, Rich Aurelia, the pitcher, Mark Gardner, and then back to the top of the order, and Sean Dunston. And that number has been retired a little more than 10 years now since Tom Seaver's number 41 was officially placed in retirement. That youngster never saw a Tom Terrific pitch. Boy, did he miss something. Leiter hits the inside corner, 0-1 to Rich Aurelia.
Rich was born in Brooklyn, went to Xavier High School and St. John's. He also, and I guess he might be the only ball player in the history of baseball that worked the Metropolitan Opera.
That's worked as opposed to performed?
Yeah, well, it's work too, but he was a stagehand there.
I had the opportunity one night to go behind stage and see the great things they're doing back there, and there are a lot of baseball fans that work at the Metropolitan Opera. Ralph?
Waiting for Ralph to name names. He gave you one, and he was a stagehand. What's he supposed to have, the whole roster of workers there?
Where do you go from there?
I thought you
I guess practice, huh?
1 and 2 on Aurelia. The guys on the ladder doing the curtains. Big fans, right? Aurelia splits the shortstop duties with Ray Sanchez, who, as far as we know, has no known affiliation with the Metropolitan Opera House, or the San Francisco Opera, for that matter. Two from Leiter is fouled back. I bet you there was a time when you wouldn't advertise the fact that a baseball player had so much as an interest in opera, whether he was a stagehand or a singer.
I think it's very interesting. How about you, Ralph? You've been to a few operas.
I have been. One time I sort of tried to learn a little bit about certain operas. That was a failure. They speak in another language.
And Aurelia gets a piece, but it's held by Piazza. The second strikeout for Al Leiter. One man away. Mark Gardner coming up. Tomorrow will be Irish night as the International Week festivities continue here at Shea Stadium. Make sure to stick around for the postgame concert by Irish rock band Black 47. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX.
They had some nice music tonight before the ball game. Jewish night here at Shea Stadium.
David Fisher performing the Israeli national anthem as well as the American anthem. 0-1 to Gardner, and Leiter misses with a slider. That evens the count.
Tomorrow night, Irish night here at Shea. International Week continues. Irish night, Clancy will lower the boom.
One
And
ball,
of course,
2 strikes.
Tonight was the 40th anniversary, the 40th anniversary of the return of Israel as a nation.
Between innings, they are featuring a lot of Sandy Koufax, born and brought up here in New York.
Went to Lafayette High School, and Sandy was a first baseman, and Fred Wilpon was the pitcher. 50th, yeah, not 40th. And Fred Wilpon, who is one of the owners of the Mets, was the star pitcher on that team. Koufax was a first baseman.
Sandy then went on to play basketball at the University of Cincinnati.
He went there on a scholarship.
Basketball scholarship, great story. He wasn't going to play baseball till he found out the baseball team in spring break went south to Florida, and all
New Orleans.
Oh, they went south.
Yeah.
He went south. And he wanted to go, so he tried out for the team.
Center
The
fielder,
pitcher just walked. Tried out for the team, made the team, and I mean, they say if you want to win one game, all the great players, give the ball to Sandy Koufax.
Couldn't go wrong.
We'll take a look at a couple of the swings Gardner had in that at-bat. You know, Al Leiter's not happy about having walked him.
Third walk.
Oh, Sean Dunston at the top of the Giants batting order. And they say he was a terrific influence on the Cleveland Indian clubhouse.
Sean Dunston. That influence, I guess it's important to a certain degree, especially if you can hit.
Ooh, Dunston just got hit. Al Leiter has hit his 9th batter of the year. Dusty Baker's going to come out along with the trainer. He won't rub. You can see he's in pain, but he's going to let the trainer do the rubbing. After all the histrionics over the weekend in Philadelphia, Dunston gets hit, but obviously there's no intent. Nothing's happened in the game to indicate that there'd be any reason why a pitcher would throw at a hitter regardless of which side. Remember, the brawl in Philadelphia was after a couple of things.
He get hit right here in a muscular area. It still hurts.
He's lucky that ball wasn't another couple of inches lower, or it gets him right in the kneecap.
A lot higher. You ruin your year.
So Dunston at first, the pitcher Mark Gardner at second, and Ellis Burks, who drew a walk his first time up. All things considered, Dunston's pretty lucky on all accounts.
I didn't realize that you were that concerned about the kneecap.
Well, those things can crack. Remember Jerry Rice of the 49ers busted his beginning of last season, came back, re-injured it. So yes, kneecaps are important too, is the point here. You're discounting the significance of a kneecap. And for a man who squatted as much as you did professionally, I would think you'd have more respect for that particular hinge. And the slider missed. 2-0 on Burks. So Leiter, wild here, having walked 3, hit a batter, and now behind a good hitter, Ellis Burks, 2-0.
And the one thing Leiter has shown this year is that he can throw the ball over the plate.
Remember, everybody right now partaking in a 6-man rotation, which Bobby Valentine and Bob Apodaca, but Bobby Valentine in particular, saying before the game is just no big deal at all. Bobby says, hey, we're going to do it a couple of times around. And even if they were to do it between now and the rest of the year, the difference would be probably 2 starts for 5 pitchers. In other words, it would be 11 starts in a 5-man rotation, 9 starts in a 6-man rotation. 2-1 now. And you saw Bobby Jones there. One of the motivating factors in Bobby's decision to go to a 6-man rotation for the time being, because Bobby's wife just had a baby, and he has been doing a little less than his normal complement of sleeping, and with a certain amount of stress and tension relative to that. Bobby figured, well, that's just another reason to give everybody a little more rest. Help Bobby along. John Moore can relate to that. 2-2 now to Ellis Burks.
If Bobby Valentine had gone the other direction, he would have roused a lot of people going to a 4-man rotation. That way you'd have 2 men in the bullpen that would be starters. But 4-man rotations are a thing of the past.
Those guys used to pitch 300 innings. 2-2 to Burks. Up the middle and on through. Gardner, a slow runner, rounding third. McRae comes up throwing, and Gardner will hold on. So with the pitcher, the runner at second base, Brian McRae, able to hold Gardner at third, at least for the time being, and the Giants have the bases loaded with 1 out for Barry Bonds.
Well, so far, early in this game, Al Leiter has labored, having tough time throwing the ball in the strike zone. When he gets it in the strike zone, it seems it's more hittable than usual. And the Giants taking advantage of Al Leiter, but yet to score a run.
Oh, tough job now for Leiter. Barry Bonds, the man who has to carry this ball club, is the batter.
And a bouncing ball through the hole. Gardner scores. Here comes Dunston around third. He scores. All the way to third goes Ellis Burks. It's a 2-run single for Barry Bonds, and the Giants lead 2-0.
Well, the walk and the hit batter sets it up for the Giants to take the early lead, and you see Bonds comes up with 2 runs batted in.
Barry Bonds is tough. He's just got a base hit off Al Leiter, driving in a run. And walking the pitcher comes back to haunt the Mets.
So Bonds is 77th and 78th runs batted in. way behind the leaders in the National League. McGuire, the leader.
So the Giants now with runners at the corners. That's Ellis Burks at third and Bonds at first. And the former Met Jeff Kent will be the hitter.
Now Bonds can run. He will steal a base. You got to be alive for something to be in action here.
Mets will play Kent straight away in the outfield and a double play depth on the infield. Bonds running. Piazza does not throw through, and they've got the runner caught off third. Ellis Burks being run down by Alfonso. Now it's Leiter chasing him back, and this has allowed Barry Bonds to go all the way to third. So they finally retire Burks, but Bonds was able to go first and third.
And you can see Dusty Baker was happy that Burks got in that rundown. It took more than one or two throws to get Burks. It allowed Barry Bonds to hustle all the way to third base.
Well, the execution on the rundown play was very bad. You got to run at the runner and don't make the long throws, and the Mets made long throws.
Well, Mike was the guy who should have ran Burks back toward third base. Here's Bonds with the jump off first, second, but he's aware of his surroundings and he hustles to third. Ordinarily, you don't get out of rundowns. It's a good move for Bonds to get over there. But it should take really one or two throws. It should really take one throw and a rundown to get the runner.
The Mets do pick up and out, though. Now it's 1-1 on Jeff Kent, with Bonds 90 feet away and Burks back in the dugout. Well, Dusty Baker tried to force the issue. And now he's got one man on with two out instead of runners at the corners and one out. Giants with 2 runs in. And the slider inside, 2-1, and Leiter pitching from behind throughout the first 2 2/3 innings. Even though he's had control problems before, this has been uncharacteristic of Leiter, certainly this season, pitching from behind this consistently. Two-1 to Kent. And the count evens. Kent 70 runs batted in this year as you look at Bonds leading from third. And remember, Kent was on the disabled list for a month because of a knee sprain.
He's starting to hit the ball hard again. It's very important if the Giants are to do anything.
Popped up and playable in the infield. Olerud near the mound and the side retired. But the Giants touched Leiter for 2 runs. There were 2 hits, a walk and a hit batsman as well. And in the middle of the third at Shea, 2-0 San Francisco. 1-0 now on Phillips. Grounded to first, his first time up. That missed outside and low, 2-0. One thing the Giants have been able to do with Mark Gardner is give him run support. So Phillips trying to play the role of jump starter here. Get the Mets towards a rally, trailing by 2 in the third inning. 2-1 now to Tony Phillips. Phillips playing right field now with the injury to Butch Husky. Bobby Valentine said he'd prefer not to use Phillips on the infield. Doesn't mean that he would not. He'd rather keep him in the outfield. The off-speed pitch misses, 3-1.
A big thing for Phillips is just to set the table for the big guns. Get on base.
And the count full now on Tony.
39 years old. Had a pretty good career. And can still run.
A couple of balls last night. One that was hit into the hole with Phillips, a runner on first. Saw him get down the line a little less than as quickly as some of us might have anticipated. And Phillips down on strikes there, 1 man away. So at 39, there's no question he still runs well. The question is, how much speed has he lost? New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by Omnipoint. 100% digital, 0% hassle. the play last night where, with Mark Guthrie, the left-hander on the mound, Phillips was leaning towards first, trying to read Guthrie's move. Alfonso hits it to left field, but right at Bonds for the second out. When a ball was hit in the hole, Grusolonic made a shorthand or short hop throw to second base. With all of that, Phillips was still out by a wide margin.
Yeah. He was moving back towards first base at the time, but you're right. We were surprised he was caught by so much by Grusolonic.
Trying to get familiar with what level of speed Phillips still has at the age of 39. John Olerud, not to be confused with any of the speed merchants of the game. He's a hitter, pure and simply, and he's on an 18-game hitting streak now as the result of his first inning single. And he hits this one in the air to straightaway center. Sean Dunston there. And it's an easy inning for Mark Gardner, who gets the Mets in order. Go to the fourth inning. The Giants 2-0 lead with a play-by-play. Here's Fran Healy.
All right, Howie, and leading off for the Giants will be Charlie Hayes. He'll be followed by Joe Carter and then Brent Mayne. 2-0, the Giants on top of the Mets. And Leiter misses down low. Ball one. Charlie Hayes 0 for 1 in this game. Hayes swings through on Al Leiter pitch. It's 1-1. Charlie Hayes batting .300. He has 7 home runs and 46 RBIs. He's moved around quite a bit.
He's always hit left-hand pitching well. Lifetime average of .365.
He takes inside 2-1. Between innings, there was a feature on first Jewish Hall of Famer Hank Greenberg. Had a tremendous impact on your career, didn't he, Ralph?
He certainly did, and on other people's too. He was a tremendous guy. Of course, he was raised in the Bronx.
Said he worked extremely hard to make himself an athlete.
Nobody worked harder than he did, and he wanted to be a Yankee, but they wouldn't sign him because they had Lou Gehrig. So he signed with Detroit. One year he had 58 home runs. One year he drove in 183 runs. Second to Gehrig's all-time record in the American League of 184.
Would he have been as good or as productive because of a right-handed hitter if he played at Yankee Stadium his whole career?
I would say no, because it was a very tough park for right-hand batters.
Joe Carter, the batter, bounces to short. Lopez flips to first. One down. On the ground out, Hayes moves to second base.
Catcher Brent Mayne.
They'll bring to the plate Brent Mayne, the catcher. Well, Brent Mayne seen a lot of action with the Giants. He's got 25 RBIs this year. Struck out his first time up.
He was on deck when Giants were playing the Diamondbacks, Arizona Diamondbacks, and the batter was Barry Bonds with the bases loaded. Diamondbacks were leading by a score of 8-6 in the 9th inning, and they walked Barry to get to Maine and walked in the run and put the tying run at third base, and Maine lined out to right field on a 3-2 pitch for the last out of the ball game.
He hit a P out there,
he
really hit it hard.
He was not happy they walked Barry Bonds with the bases loaded.
Only one other time that anybody can remember that a player could walk with the bases loaded in the last inning, and that was Bill Nicholson of the Cubs against the Giants.
And Maine grounds out. Charlie Hayes moves to third base. 2 men are gone. So Charlie Hayes on third, 2 out, and the batter for the Giants, Rich Aurelio. Ralph, you mentioned Aurelio working in the business of opera. and they're going to walk him. They're going to walk him to get to Mark Gardner. Speaking of cultural channels, one of the great cultural channels of our day, Bravo. I've seen a lot of Bravo.
There it is.
It's not the bat.
It's the tape on the back.
Butch Husky, we've watched him file that handle down. Now, he's going to make it bigger.
You know what's interesting to me, in softball, they put tape around the handle of the bat.
You don't see this
You
in
never see it in hardball.
only on the playgrounds, although maybe they don't do it anymore.
There are no more playgrounds.
Mark Gardner, the batter. The bouncer right back to Leiter. Easy play. Scored 1-3, and that'll do it for the Giants. Here in the top of the fourth, they failed to score after 3 in top of the Mets as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. And last night, Mike Piazza
Goes with the slider to right field.
not happy making the last out. He hit the ball hard. He hit a big home run in last night's game, but he was very upset leaving the dugout after failing to tie the ball game.
Well, the one thing there is he hit the ball very hard. He actually hit a very tough pitch. Can't drop all the base hits in.
He just took a curveball out of the strike zone, so it's 1-0 on Mike Piazza, batting .311, 19 home runs, 63 RBIs.
And 3 of those RBIs and 1 of those home runs came last night. Throw in a walk. And it was a good night at the plate for Piazza. Just couldn't make it a special night in that final at bat.
3-0 now on Mike. Outside, ball 4, so Piazza walks.
Center fielder
First now that Mark Gardner has walked Piazza without ever really challenging him in either at bat. Here, of course, he's leading off an inning. A reasonably hot hitter, Brian McRae, coming up, although McRae struck out his first time up. And if Dusty Baker can see Barry Bonds walk to force in a run, he's got no problems pitching around Piazza in the 4th inning of the game with a 2-run lead.
And Brian McRae, who has 16 home run steps in and takes a strike from Mark Gardner. McRae will be followed by Todd Hundley.
One of the reasons why the Mets need Todd Hundley to start hitting is to back up Piazza.
The 0-1 pitch is off the plate outside. 1 ball and 1 strike on Brian McRae. Gardner looking in for the sign, and the 1-1 pitch is down low, 2-1. International Week continues here at Shea Stadium tonight. Jewish night here at Shea Stadium. Tomorrow night, Irish night. Nice crowd on hand once again tonight. Some music before the game as McRae puts music into right field. Base hit. So Brian McRae picking up a hit, and the Mets now have runners on first and second with nobody out. They're trailing by 2. It'll bring to the plate Todd Hundley.
Here's our chase cam shot. McRae gets a fastball and lines it into right field. Ellis Burks plays it back in. The Mets are in have a chance now to come up with some runs. They are trading 2-0.
And Todd Hundley takes down low, ball 1. Will Gardner challenge Hundley with a fastball?
Well, he has to right here.
Hundley will be followed by Carlos Baerga. Brent Maine flashing the signs to Gardner. He misses outside. 2-0. Giants and the Mets, the first first of a 3-game series. Seats available for tomorrow night and also Thursday afternoon here at Shea Stadium. If you can't make it out to the ballpark, you can catch all the action, the rest of the homestand right here on Fox Sports New York. Up high, 3 balls, no strikes. Well, he's going to get a fastball. Taken all the way.
Boy, if he had been in a better hitting groove, you'd figure that he'd be really looking to swing the bat in that situation, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you wonder, it might be the best time to give him a hit sign even when he's struggling, because he's going to get a good pitch to hit if they're going to throw it over the plate. Swings at a bad ball, fouls it back at 3-2.
Well, the 3-0 pitch was not a good pitch to hit. It was down low and outside. This ball's out of the strike zone, and he goes after that. It would have been ball 4. So on those 2 pitches, one he used good judgment. On this one, not good.
3-2 on Todd Hundley. Swung on and missed. So Todd swings through a ball in the wheelhouse and strikes out.
Well, Todd certainly anxious, there's no doubt about it. You got to control your emotions. Got to pitch up. Or you can hit in the air and drive hard, and he never made the contact.
So 1 man down, Baerga the batter. Base hit in center field. Here comes Piazza. No, they're holding him at third. Dunston has a strong throwing arm. We talked about it earlier. And Cookie Rojas decided to hold Piazza at third base. First start for Dunston in center field. And he scares the base runners.
Well, he has that gun for an arm. I would have doubted he would throw home in this spot. But they held him up anyway. The right throw, even if he had gone to home, would be to third base. Well, he has got some arm.
So 1 man gone. The bases are loaded with Mets and Luis and Lopez the batter. Swung on and missed. 0-1 on Lopez. On third. McRae on second. Baerga on first. Lopez takes strike 2. So it's 0-2 on Lopez.
Discover Card will donate $500 to the local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation for any Grand Slam that could be hit tonight. Lopez in position to get some of that money here.
0-2 on Lopez. He takes outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Lopez 0 for 1 in his game. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. 4th inning. Lopez will be followed by Leiter. Foul off. Do it again at 1-2. Gardner nursing a 2-run lead here in the 4th inning. 3 hits for the Giants, 4 for the Mets. Outside, 2-2. so we'll do it again at 2-2.
Lopez got a fastball 2-2, and he was late on it. Gardner will throw the breaking pitch at any point in the count, even should the count go to 3-2. He's got the pitcher up next, Leiter. It might have been the best pitch Lopez was going to see in this at-bat.
You see Piazza on third, McRae on second, Baerga on first. The 2-2 pitch popped up. Brilliant. The shortstop calling for it on the outfield grass and makes the grab. 2 down.
He got another fastball there, one that he could have done something with.
Well, he was unable to handle the fastball, so Lopez back in the dugout, 2 men down, and it's up to Leiter.
And Lopez hitting .282 with runners in scoring position, gets a great pitch to hit right down the middle of the plate. He's behind the ball and pops it up. It's an infield fly.
Leiter takes outside, ball 1. Leiter striking out his first at bat. Batting .114. Takes a strike, so it's 1 ball and 1 strike on the Met pitch.
Barry Bonds in left field playing near the foul line.
Down low, 2-1.
Now he's got to get a fastball right here, so got to look fastball and try and get a base hit. Can't afford to walk the pitcher.
Swung out and missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If Leiter reaches base, he'll be followed by Tony Phillips. See the defense shallow in the outfield, shading Leiter to hit the ball the other way. Runner on third is Piazza with a decent lead. Right 3, so Mark Gardner pitching out of a bases-loaded jam. And the Mets ran 3. We played 4 here at Shea, and it's 2-zip Giants. And Sean Dunston taking on Leiter. Leiter's breaking ball is a strike. Top of the 5th inning, 2-0 the Giants on top of the Mets. Some of the fans enjoying themselves here at the ballpark, and they might have been on the Diamond Division board between innings. Outside, 1-1. The Diamond Division board has taken a beating from Mike Piazza. Batting practice yesterday, and it's a bolt.
Dunston's father was a cab driver in New York. His name was Jack. He says he tries to model himself after his dad. I guess his dad couldn't hit.
Well, we know where to go if you need a ride into the city after the game.
One of the plays in the ball game was when they had the runner first and runner third. Piazza fakes throwing to second, and in the rundown, they get the runner, Burks. Now this rundown play should have been easier than this. They make it take too long. The third baseman, Alfonso, has got to come up the line and get as close to the runner as he can, so Piazza could throw to him and tag him out. But Alfonso did not do that. And on the runner at first base, Barry Bonds ends up a third on the play, but he did not score.
And the 1-0 pitch to Ellis Burks, and he hits a bullet in the center field base hit. Giants very happy they were able to pick up Burks right before the trading deadline. I was surprised the Rockies got rid of him.
Well, he has to be signed, so they figured, I guess, they couldn't pay him enough to sign him.
Yeah, but the Rockies can pay him more than the Giants.
I would think so. Darrell Hamilton was a man that he was exchanged for, and Hamilton has to be re-signed too.
Now Hamilton, a better defensive center fielder. But
He was
Burks,
outstanding, yes.
but Burks now playing right field for the Giants.
Burks had heard rumors about the Giants before he was traded, but once the Giants got Joe Carter, Ellis figured, well, there wouldn't be any need for him in San Francisco, but he was wrong.
And Barry Bonds steps in and takes a ball. 1-0 on Barry Bonds.
And that was a decoy. He's not about to bunt.
Bonds 1 for 2. He singled and drove in 2. They check Burks at first base, and one time Burks a base stealer.
Bonds has said when they have an all-time all-star team, he will be the left fielder.
And there goes Burks. No throw to second base. Bonds takes inside 2-0.
Bonds says it'll be tougher for Griffey Jr. to make the all-time all-star team because center field has Willie Mays and right field has Roberto Clemente, so the right fielder would have a tough time. Did you ever hear of Ted Williams?
You ever hear of Ty Cobb?
Ever hear of Babe Ruth?
Up high, 3-0.
Ted Williams, the greatest left fielder and greatest hitter around, would be the left fielder in that all-time all-star team.
See the Continental Airlines runs batted in. Barry Bonds, 1990 and 1998, 949, including the 2 he has tonight. That graphic brought to you by Continental Airlines. It's 3-1 on Barry Bonds. And a 3-1 pitch. He gets under it. Fly ball. Left field. Todd Hundley makes the grab. Burks tags up, heads to third, and makes it. All eyes were on Todd catching that ball, not necessarily throwing it. But Burks had larceny in his heart, so he stole third.
High arcing throw by Todd Hundley, who's still getting used to the kind of throws needed from the outfield as opposed to from behind the plate. And I'm not so sure he expected Burks to be going to third here either.
No, he didn't. He's not in throwing position, but with a runner at third base and 2 men out, it's not that big a play.
I think
Plus, it's a wild pitch or a pass ball.
Plus, the problems Todd has been having out in left field, the last thing on his mind was getting himself in position to throw. So Burks is on third. Jeff Kent, who's 0 for 1, is the batter.
Well, the darker the sky, the better Todd Hundley has been at catching fly balls. Early on, during twilight, and that's somewhat understandable, of course, is when he's had the most trouble. It's good background for him.
Jeff Kent takes a strike. It's 0-1 on the Giants' second baseman. Burks leading off third, and Jeff Kent takes inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeff Kent gets jammed. It's a looper in the center field. McRae coming in, making the grab. And that will do it for the Giants. Here in the top of the 5th, they strand Burks on third. They fail to score. Gardner hits the corner. 0-1 on Tony Phillips. 4 hits for the Giants, 4 hits for the Mets. And the 0-1 pitch is inside, 1-1.
There's a Dusty wannabe right there. Dusty gave him that toothpick. That's a Dusty Baker autographed toothpick.
How about the little guy sitting in front of him in the uniform? He's got a toothpick. Everybody at the Giants has a toothpick.
San Francisco's always been a trend-setting city.
Beautiful city out there in Northern California. Ball's pulled to the right side. One down. And with that out, let's take a look at our Jeep game summary.
Barry Bonds providing the offense for the San Francisco Giants. John Olerud got his hit for the night early, at least the one that he needed to keep the hitting streak going. And Mark Gardner has only worked one 1-2-3 inning. Al Leiter, on the other hand, has had runners on base in each of the 5 innings that he's worked. That guy's going to work that toothpick probably all night until Dusty gives him a fresh one.
There's a breaking ball for a strike to Edgardo Alfonso, who's 0 for 2 in this game. Everybody's waiting for Fonzie to be as consistent as he was last year. He takes a ball, it's 1-1. Fonzie will be followed by John Olerud. On the corner inside, 1-2. Al Leiter hoping for runs. And the 1-2 pitch is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Last year, Alfonso hit .315, drove in 72 runs, had quite a year.
And the 2-2 pitch, breaking ball inside, 3-2. But once you do it, Ralph, you kind of penciled in the next year to do the same or better.
That's Gully Lowe's, who pitched for the Dodgers, never won the 120, and they never did. He said, if I win 20, I have to do it the next year.
And they struck out Alfonso, so 2 men out here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
All right, let's take a look at our Affleck trivia question for tonight. The ex-Met who led the league in home runs back in 1989.
And John Olerud will never lead the league in home runs, but he'll give you a good solid average. He's 1 for 2 in tonight's ball game. He has a single, and he just took a ball. So it's 1-0 on the Met first baseman. Mets need runs. Boy, it's quiet here at Shea Stadium. And it's a big crowd on hand, waiting for some offense.
Well, the Mets had a player that led the league in home runs and worked in the front office of the Mets and still does. Tommy Holmes.
Yeah. Led the league with the fewest home runs, I think, ever in the history of the game, right? And leading the league, there's a strike. 2-1.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I know what it is. You know what?
He had the fewest strikeouts.
Yeah, sorry about that, Tommy. I'm going to hear from Tommy.
Fewest strikeouts for a man that led the league in home runs. I think he had 9 for the season.
Inside 3-1. Another thing that Tommy was very, very involved in Boston, maybe even before the Red Sox got involved with this organization, the Jimmy Fund.
That's right. He was an outstanding player.
Tommy Holmes
has worked for the Mets for many, many years.
Base hit in the right field, so Olerud picks up his 2nd hit of the game. Tommy Holmes would love John Olerud the way he sprays that ball around.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized under television rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and Fox Sports New York is prohibited.
Well, Mike Piazza's the batter. Mets need 2 to tie. Piazza, 2 walks in tonight's game.
First time he walked, Olerud was on ahead of him, also with 2 men out. And he did not get anything close to the strike zone.
Strike.
Well, there's a tough pitch right there. I don't think fans consider how tough some pitches are to hit, and especially to hit for home runs.
And the 0-1 pitch, down low, 1-1. I think even for us, Ralph, when we played some baseball, it looks easy on TV.
It does.
Oh, yeah.
home run hit by the Mets this season. Fox Sports New York makes a contribution to Ronald McDonald Charities. So far, the Mets have hit 79.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Piazza. 2 out. Bottom of the 5th, 2-zip Giants. Sliders hit up in the air to center field. Sean Dunston is there and makes the grab for out number 3. So the Mets strand a runner here in the bottom of the 5th. They fail to score. Oh, you're looking at LaGuardia Airport here in New York. And here it is again. Which former Met led the league in home runs in 1989?
I think he's got a lot of red top roof places where you can stay overnight.
A lot of ice cream in the restaurant.
Yeah, ice cream. No, we lost. That couldn't be right.
Kevin Mitchell was just released.
Former Met.
That's right.
But Howard Johnson for the Mets led the league in home runs.
Well, Kevin Mitchell at 47. He was the most valuable player that year.
Yes.
And now back with the play-by-play, Howie Rose.
Charlie Hayes grounded into a double play, drew a walk, and goes after the first pitch here in the 6th inning. Tony Phillips settles under it quickly. Leiter has retired Charlie Hayes. Talking about home runs, Joe Carter will be next as Jewish Night continues at Shea Stadium, celebrating the 50th anniversary of the State of Israel. Now, I understand that approximates the NY. Joel Mandelbaum down in our truck confirms that those Hebrew letters basically spell out New York. 1 ball, no strikes. Actually, Mandelbaum's saying, no, it's really Mets, not New York.
Well, wait a minute, Howie. You're supposed to know this also.
It's been a long time since Hebrew school.
If it was Gaelic, I would know it.
Yes, I'm sure you would. As long as you had the Berlitz book next to you. Carter dunks one down the left field line that gets through Hundley's legs. And Carter will end up at second base, which is where he seemed destined anyhow. So Todd Hundley still learning the different nooks and crannies, but this time it's not a corner, it's the foul line and the backspin that got him.
And take another look as Hundley gets over by the line and is unable to come up with the ball. And Carter now on second base.
So with 1 out, Brent Maine will be the batter. Now Leiter waiting for a moment while right fielder Tony Phillips.
Must be something with the eyes.
Yeah, Brian McRae trying to help Phillips with whatever's in his eye.
You get a problem when you go over to the center fielder instead of the trainer.
I guess he's trying to save time because see Scott Lawrenson, the assistant trainer, is jogging onto the field now.
I would leave it up,
contact.
I'd leave it up to Scott or Fred Hina. I don't think the first guy I'd go to would be the center fielder.
Maybe the first idea Tony had was to save time and see if McRae could help him if in fact it is a contact lens. Can't tell whether or not it's a contact lens or something that might be in the eye.
One of the great stories was Whitey Ford was having some trouble, and he went to Bobby Brown, who was a cardiologist. And Bobby Brown said to him, you got to have an operation. And Whitey Ford looked at him and said, I saw you play third base, and nobody's cutting on me with hands like that.
See where Yogi Berra has a celebrity golf tournament coming up shortly. Whitey and Yogi, a long-time battery with those Yankees. I'm sure Whitey will be at that tournament.
Whitey with the ballpark named after him in New Jersey.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful park.
And a beautiful museum is about to open over there, Yogi Berra Museum.
I asked him how to get there, and he says, you take Route 22 and you come to a split in the road, and you take it.
Well, Scott Lawrenson was able to flush out whatever was bothering Tony Phillips. And so back to work will go Al Leiter with Joe Carter, the runner, at second and 1 out. Brent Maine struck out, grounded to second. 2-0 Giants and a line drive past Olerud. coming home is Carter. Maine on his way to second as Phillips comes up with the ball, and the Giants now lead it 3-0. An RBI double for Brent Maine.
Well, the Mets liked the way Brent Maine swung the bat when he was a member of the ball club. Problem for Brent Maine at the time, there was a healthy Todd Hundley doing the catching. Here's a line drive off his bat, and Maine picking up an RBI, and the Mets now trail the Giants 3-0.
That ball well hit. And Leiter now has been reached for 3 runs on 6 hits. It has been a struggle all day long for Leiter here.
The pitch to Maine was his first after that slight delay because of the problem with Tony Phillips, and Brent Maine jumped all over it. So now Maine in scoring position with 1 out, and the number 8 hitter in the lineup, Rich Aurelia, coming up. Right now the Mets bullpen is quiet, so Leiter will be able to try and get out of this himself. He has struck Aurelia out and also walked him intentionally. And the slider misses, 1-0.
Getting back to Maine, he had 263 for the Mets with 1 home run in 70 games.
Played last year with Oakland and now with the San Francisco Giants. He didn't move much, stayed in the Bay Area. And some goaltending there by Piazza. 2 balls, no strikes. And Leiter continues to pitch from behind.
Yeah, this year he has really shown us something. When he's pitching, he's usually ahead of the hitters and throwing good strikes. Al is laboring tonight, although he has only given up 6 hits.
He has walked 5, 1 intentionally. He's also hit a better.
That's a lot of base runners.
This game has been played at a very deliberate pace. Leiter working from behind. Mark Gardner, always a slow worker. And now the hitter, Rich Aurelia, steps out. Well, can we have some history? Have there ever been 2 perfect games pitched in 1 year? Don't believe so.
There have been, what, 15 perfect games?
A line drive base hit for Aurelia. Here comes Maine around third. He'll score. On his way to second, Aurelia. Hundley's throw is in time, and the tag made by Baerga. So Hundley throws out Aurelia trying to stretch, but it's an RBI single for Aurelia, and the Giant lead is now 4-0.
Well, clearly the other teams, the opposition to the Mets, they're told try and run on Todd Hundley. Coming back from elbow surgery, and Todd makes a good strong throw, cutting down Aurelia at second base, but an RBI. It is now 4-0.
Todd's second assist in the outfield, 1 at third and 1 at second. That was a pretty good throw.
Yeah.
1-0 now to Mark Gardner. And the fastball missed. So Leiter, who's already walked the pitcher once tonight, behind him now 2-0. 2 runs in the inning on 3 straight hits. Giants 4 runs, 7 hits. The Mets no runs, 5 hits. And a fastball on the outside corner. 2-1 now to Gardner. And Gardner lines one towards right. Here comes Phillips, and the side retired. So the Giants score 2, although Hundley throws out a base runner. 4-0 Giants. And Brian McRae, Todd Hundley, and Carlos Baerga to the plate against Mark Gardner. That's with 5 hits, as you see. Gardner's been hittable, but the Mets have left runners on. In all but 1 inning, they have left 7 on altogether through the first 5. And the breaking ball, 0-1. McRae was caught looking to end the first inning with runners at first and second. And when he singled in the 4th, that put runners on first and second with nobody out, but the Mets failed to capitalize. And the breaking ball line to left. In comes Bonds, but he plays it on the hop. And Brian McRae is now 2 for 3. Well, the Mets trying to get something going against Gardner, trailing by 4 here in the 6th inning. And we want to remind you to stay tuned immediately after tonight's telecast for Fox Sports News, as we sum up all the day's activities for you around the country here on Fox Sports New York. So now Todd Hundley, whose struggles have continued tonight. Rounded to short, struck out his last time up with 2 on and nobody out.
Well, Todd there chases the fastball on a 3-2 pitch and strikes out. First time up, he had a ball to short that was hit hard.
And the 1-0 is popped up. In the short right, Kent, the second baseman, out. So Hundley now 0 for 3, and the frustration mounts. You know, just as we've talked about how Mike Piazza seems to be pressing, particularly in important situations, wouldn't you think that Hundley's problems are starting to multiply now, at bat by at bat?
And it could be any player at all. When you get into these slumps, it is a mind-boggling thing.
Plus, he did the Mets a favor in coming back and fighting through this injury. Probably came back a little bit too early as far as swinging the bat is concerned, but the Mets had to take that into consideration. Right now, he's trying to play himself into a good swing, but it could have a negative effect on your mind, not necessarily mechanically.
So McRae chased back to first with Carlos Baerga, the batter. Carlos 2 for 2 tonight.
For the Mets to have a chance in the wild card, they had to bring Hundley back.
Yes, they did.
McRae running. Maine's throw, not in time.
Well, McRae had a big jump off second base. I should say off first base, and it was a stolen base from McRae. Watch his jump. And McRae slides in ahead of the throw. And from our chase cam, you see that big jump off first base. Brent Maine making a strong throw, but McRae underneath the tag.
19 stolen bases now for McRae as Baerga fouls it off, 1-1. Carlos Baerga will hit a lot of balls on the ground and is prone to the double play, so even 4 runs down, running McRae has purpose. Not only does it get him in scoring position, but it allows Baerga to hit without the threat of a ground ball double play.
Right now, the Mets need some thunder to explode in the lineup.
Two and one now to Carlos.
There's nothing like a home run with a man on base to change the atmosphere. That's one of the reasons the Mets wanted Todd Hundley back in the lineup, to juice the ball, hit the ball over the wall, and drive in some runs. He's done it in the past.
And he will do it in the future.
Yep.
It's a matter of time.
And a breaking ball fouled away, 2-2. The best balls that Todd Hundley hit since coming back were in Chicago. Remember, he had the wind blowing in during the Friday doubleheader. It was about 11 days ago now. And one, if not both of those balls, might have gone out had the wind been either blowing out or a little more quiet than it was that day.
He's very comfortable when they play at Wrigley Field.
Baerga might have been hit, and he was. Carlos nicked by the pitch. So that'll put runners at first and second with Luis Lopez coming up. So each pitcher now has hit a batter. Gardner getting Baerga. Earlier in the game, Leiter hit Sean Dunston. That was in the 3rd inning.
Lopez with a chance once again. He was batting with 1 out in the 4th inning when the bases loaded and popped up to short. Now a chance to come through here. The Mets are trailing by 4, and they have a hot pinch hitter on the bench, and Matt Franco.
So 2 on, 1 out, and Lopez, a sinking liner to right that drops in. McRae had a hold up, so he'll be stopped at 3rd, and the Mets have the bases loaded, and Leiter will be called back.
Second time the Mets have not scored a runner from second base on a base hit to the outfield in this game.
Yeah, the first time Mike Piazza was on second base, the ball was hit into center field to Sean Dunston, and Cookie Rojas decided to hold Piazza at third base because of Dunston's strong throwing arm. But once again, the spotlight is going to be put on Matt Franco. Hit a dramatic home run in the Dodgers series.
So Matt Franco will represent the tying run at home plate for the Mets. He's had one hit in 3 prior appearances against Mark Gardner.
Boyd here on Saturday, a pinch hit home run in the 9th inning to tie the ball game against the Dodgers. His first home run of the year as a pinch hitter, and it tied the game. Alfonso won it later with a double, and the Mets came from behind in the 9th inning to win. And that was a big win for the Mets. And now Dusty Baker out to talk it over with his pitcher Gardner. There's action in the bullpen for the Giants and also for the Mets.
He asked Gardner how he's feeling.
Batting for the Mets, bottom of the 9th, and here's Lindsey Nelson.
He's to left. It's going, gone for a home run. The Mets win the ball game. The Mets win the ball game. As Ron Swoboda hits a 3-run homer. Ron Hunt is coming on to score. Johnny Stevenson is coming on to score. Ron Swoboda is coming on.
That was one of the most remarkable games in early Mets history. Juan Marichal of the Giants was pitching a perfect game through 5 2/3, and the Met manager Wes Westrom let his pitcher hit Dennis Rydman. He broke up the perfect game. The Mets would go on to win it on that Swoboda home run. So now Al Leiter and company hoping for a similar comeback tonight, and Todd Pratt will bat for Matt Franco. So the left-hander Rich Rodriguez into the ball game now for the Giants. Matt Franco had been announced, and so Todd Pratt, right-hand hitter, will bat for the left-hand pinch hitter Matt Franco. Brian McRae at third, Carlos Baerga at second, and Louis Lopez at first. By now you know Pratt's story. He was to be optioned down to Norfolk at the trade deadline after the acquisitions made by Steve Phillips, and then after the injury to Butch Husky the other day. That was on Sunday. Pratt, who never left New York, was able to come right back.
That's the key. Just don't leave. When they tell you you're going to minor league, say I'm not going.
Well, his luggage went.
And the 1-0 from Rodriguez. Fastball on the outside corner. Pratt was certainly not happy about being sent down, and Bobby Valentine said it was the most not ridiculous, but the most ridiculously uncomfortable feeling that he had in informing a player that he had to go down because of how well Todd Dunston's coming up. It was a numbers thing. He was going to go down there and play some first base in the outfield and come back perhaps before September 1st. And he's here a lot sooner than that. And a line drive, base hit for Pratt. Here comes McRae. Here comes Baerga. On his way to third is Lopez. Pratt delivers a 2-run single, and the Giant lead is now 4-2. Well, Leiter's last 2 starts, he had leads. The bullpen couldn't hold them. Now he's hoping for the reverse.
Well, Pratt didn't go to the minor leagues, Ralph. He stayed up in the major leagues.
Big base hit here for the Mets. 2-run score. The runner on first goes to third, and the throw from the center fielder goes into second base properly. Tying run is now at first base.
Now the Giants feel their bullpen is their secret weapon.
Gardner's hoping it is for now. Tony Phillips, a switch hitter, will turn around and bat right.
In fact, some people say the most valuable player on this Giants team, Rob Nin.
He has been almost invincible as a relief pitcher. The Mets really have to get the runner in from third.
1-0 now to Phillips.
Infield is back at second and short for the double play. And the Mets need this run in from third base to make it a one-run ball game.
The outfield a step towards right, and Phillips the other way. And a throw to first by Rodriguez is to keep Pratt close. Todd Pratt, who was not happy about being optioned, had 72 hours to report to Norfolk. He wasn't balking at going down, but he certainly wasn't thrilled. And now he's able to assist the Mets in a manner that he probably did not think possible even 5 days ago, given his situation.
It was a confusing time in everybody's life. I'm sure there was concern. Todd Pratt going to the minor leagues. What a year he's had. Sent to the minor leagues out of spring training, comes up, does the job. While doing the job, sent back to the minor leagues, doesn't go down, and is back in the big leagues.
And he is the fourth catcher on this team.
The Mets have had some catchers this year.
Tony Phillips 0 for 3 in the game. This is first at-bat as a right-hand hitter. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Lopez at third, Pratt at first. And now it's 2-1 on Phillips. Gardner got credit for 5 1/3 innings of work. Gave up 7 hits. Both runs to this point charged to him. Runner on third is his responsibility. And a line drive. Base hit. Fair ball headed towards the corner. Lopez scores. Pratt on his way to third. Bonds up with the ball. Pratt being held at third. Into second with a double goes Tony Phillips. It's now 4-3 San Francisco. The tying run is at third. The go-ahead run at second with 1 man out. So Leiter's 90 feet away from being taken off the hook.
Right here, Phillips gets around on the off-speed pitch and drills it into the left field corner. It's played well by Barry Bonds. Otherwise, it'd be a tie ball game. Bonds plays it from a left center field area and plays his ball perfectly.
Well, they say he's the best left fielder in the game. If he has a shortcoming defensively, it's his throwing arm. But Barry Bonds can play left field. Dusty Baker certainly appreciates him.
All right, now Rodriguez, the left-hander, allowed by Baker to stay in the game here. First base is open. A left-hand batter, John Olerud, is on deck. Remember, though, Olerud hits left-handers very, very well. Alfonso tonight 0 for 3. Giants have the infield back at short and second, even with the bags on the corners. And it's 0-1 to Fonzie. Even a ground ball to the infield has the potential to get this game even. Mets with 3 runs in. They now have 9 hits. They've out hit the Giants 9-7. Rodriguez missed away. 1-1.
Got to get this run in from third base. And here's the guy, as far as situational hitting, if there is such a thing, he's got to be the best or one of the best on the Mets.
Certainly was last year.
Got to put this ball in play and tie the ball game up.
And he's delivered in these situations 65% of the time this year. And now he's behind in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Fonzie's flapping that elbow, that front elbow, like Joe Morgan used to flap the back elbow when he was hitting. That is pronounced.
It's Phillips at second with Pratt at third. 1-2 to Alfonso. And the count even. Mets are 3 for 3 this inning in delivering runners from scoring position. They threatened against Mark Gardner continually through the first 5 innings. He had 1 hit and 7 opportunities with a man in scoring position, and that did not deliver a run. So now the 2-2 pitch. Check swing, winds up in the Met dugout.
Well, you got to put the ball in play because the infield is back and you can score the time run at third. You cannot strike out in this position.
Especially a guy like Alfonso, whose forte is putting the ball in play, making contact.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Came inside, and Alfonso just did get a piece.
Remember, Alfonso won that game in the 9th inning against the Dodgers with a double, which is a big turnaround game for the Mets after blowing the first game of that series, and the Dodgers rallied to come from behind.
Pratt not much speed at third. Phillips still with ample speed at second. They set up away, but it misses low, and now a full count to Alfonso. Gardner had a 4-0 lead. The 3 Met runs have been charged to him. Leiter can be taken off the hook if the Mets can deliver Pratt from third. Pratt is the responsibility of Rich Rodriguez, who's on the mound now, as is Phillips at second base. And the payoff pitch. This should tie the game. Pratt shoves to the plate. Alfonso out at first, but the Mets have tied it at 4. Now the starting pitchers, for the time being, are out of the equation unless the Mets can deliver Phillips, and then Leiter would be in position to win the game.
Yeah, Leiter wasn't thinking about a tie in that dugout. He's thinking about a victory. He's happy to be off the hook, but he's got a chance of winning the ball game if Olerud can drive in the run from second base. Alfonso put the ball in play, and it's an out, but it's a good out.
Leiter watching the play, and now in a position to pick up the win.
0-1 on John Olerud. John 2 for 3, extending his hitting streak to 17 games. Nice stop by Brent Maine. John Olerud at that Met magic number of 340. With Cleon Jones hit in 1969, the highest single season batting average in Mets history. Olerud sit just a shade under that against left-handers this year. So this is no big deal for John. But he gets jammed and rolls it to second. Kent throws him out, and the side's retired. But the Mets send 8 men to the plate and get even. 4 runs, 4 hits. And at the end of 6, Leiter's off the hook. Our thanks to Ralph Kiner. They're all even at 4.
Knott's reception. Do you think that will impact your ability? I know you won't talk about whether talks are taking place, but the fan reaction, do you think it'll impact your ability to sign, Mike?
Well, I think with any player, it's not just the club that has to work the deal out. The player has to be willing and want to stay with that team as well, and certainly he has a choice about whether he wants to stay here or not. So, only Mike will be able to answer that question in the long run, but we hope he does want to stay.
You think the crowd will affect him one way or the other?
Again, I can't speak for him. I think it is affecting him in some way. I do see him reacting to it, and I think putting a little pressure on himself. But whether it affects the contract, I'm not sure.
All right, Steve, we appreciate your time. Fellas.
Thank you. Turk Wendell in for the Mets on the mound and gets Sean Dunston on a fly ball to Todd Hundley in left field for the first out here in the 7th inning. So Turk, who last pitched on Sunday, went 2 innings against the Dodgers, giving up 3 hits and 2 runs, takes over for Al Leiter, and immediately Wendell becomes the pitcher of record. So he's got Dunston. Now I'll go after Sean Burks, who's 2 for 2 with a walk. Pardon me, Ellis Burks, who walked, singled in the 3rd and singled in the 5th. And Wendell misses with a slider. 1-0 to Ellis Burks. It was a time when it seemed destined for Ellis Burks to become a New York Met.
Yeah, he's a member of the Boston Red Sox. A lot of rumors circulating that Ellis Burks was going to come to the Mets for Sid Fernandez.
Fouled away, 1-1.
I tell you, a lot of Red Sox fans wanted that deal to happen. They wanted Sid Fernandez in Boston.
Burks, of course, has had some knee problems over the course of his career.
Burks never really lived up to his potential in Boston. He did it in Denver.
2 balls, 1 strike now to Burks.
The problem with that word potential is somebody else is putting it on you.
Once he got out to Colorado, the whole package came together. The average, as well as the power. 2-2 now to Burks. And he stayed healthy, too. You know, he was part of an outfield with Dante Bichette and Larry Walker that put up huge numbers and gave him the opportunity to get some quality pitches. Now here, he's batting second in the Giant lineup. And the guy behind him is Barry Bonds.
How about Walker was on the trading block prior to the trading deadline this year?
Trying to be more fiscally responsible now in Denver with the Rockies out of it. 2-2 on Burks still as he fouls it back. And Bonds waiting on deck.
Some people wonder if Barry Bonds will be with the Giants after this year.
I would think he would be, for the simple reason they've got that new ballpark opening up in the China Basin the year after next. Still the marquee player with the San Francisco Giants. 2-2 to Burks. And he fouls the slider back. New York Mets baseball is brought to you in part by the Dime, the bank that's with you all the way. Howie Rose, Fran Healy, Ralph Kiner, Matt Lachlan at Shea Stadium. Mets trailed 4-0, but scored 4 times in the last of the 6th inning. So we're even. Turk Wendell deals 2-2, and that hit the knob of Burke's bat. So Wendell getting the 7th inning tonight. Generally, Bobby Valentine has gone Greg McMichael or Dennis Cook, depending upon the situation. 7th inning on. McMichael failed in that role last night, and now Wendell gets a breaking ball past Burks for a call, strike 3. So Turk has picked up the first 2 outs here in the 7th, and Bonds will be next.
Oh, Burks striding into that ball. Look where it ends up, right on the inside part of the plate. Right in this area here. It's a tough pitch to hit, and Ellis Burks takes it for strike 3.
So Burks back to the bench. Bonds 1 for 3. Drove in 2 runs with a single in the 3rd inning. And takes breaking ball low. 1-0 to Bonds. Bonds 1 for 4 in his career against Turk Wendell. And the breaking ball hit to straightaway center. In comes McRae. And a strong inning for Turk Wendell. It's time for the 7th inning fetch. But there's not much to fetch about now. Maybe when they were down 4-0. But with the Mets having put up 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th inning, as some would say, the Mets performed a mitzvah for their fans in the bottom of that inning. So now, even at 4, it'll be Mike Piazza, Brian McRae, and Todd Hundley. And Rodriguez deals. Again, Piazza pulls it on the ground. Aurelia throws him out, and there's 1 gone here on the home 7th.
That bat hit Piazza in the back. That broke. The handle. That broke down by the handle. He hit this ball off the end of the bat, didn't he? Take another look. He hits the ball off the end. Oh, he broke it on his back. Wow. I've never seen a bat broken on. So watch his back now. Comes around the backswing. Bang! That's incredible.
Well, at least he could walk it off.
I've never seen a bat broken on somebody's back before.
Brian McRae got the sweet spot on that Rodriguez pitch and lines it into center for his third hit. So Brian McRae now 3 for 4, and the go-ahead run is on. Significant recoil there by Mike Piazza, and some significance tonight in Baltimore. Remember, Mike Mussina taking a perfect game into the 8th inning, but Frank Catalanato broke it up with a base hit. Orioles still leading the Tigers, as you see, 3-0.
Hey, how strong is Mike Piazza?
I give up.
Take a look at that. We'll show a replay of that baby. You'll see how strong he is.
Todd Hundley hasn't had much time from the right side since coming back. Hitless in 3 trips as a right-hand batter. Now to Todd. Well, we wondered before whether or not in the modern era anyone had ever, or at least 2 perfect games had been pitched in one year. They consider the modern era 1900 and beyond. Well, 20 years before the turn of that century. Only 5 days apart. Worcester and Providence, they were natural rivals.
Yeah, but the mound, thanks to Elias.
Oh, here he goes.
But the mound, I don't even believe the mound was 60 feet 6 inches back then. It might have been. It was a lot shorter. Here, I think we're throwing underhanded back then. Imagine Nolan Ryan pitching in that game.
What, it had been 60 feet 6 inches forever.
No, it hasn't.
Outside to Hundley, 2-1.
It's been moved once.
Probably by a hitter.
55 feet, and it was moved once. And supposedly, baseball folklore has a story that the groundskeeper was talking to the man making the decisions, and he said, move it 66 feet, and he moved it 60 feet 6 inches. Must have been an old catcher.
2-2 now to Hundley. Certainly see a pitcher wanting to move that mound as close as possible.
By the way, that Worcester team eventually became Philadelphia Phillies. In case you were wondering.
And the Providence team became the
defunct team.
The Providence Defuncts. And McRae back to first. You know, they've always considered the modern era 1900 and beyond, but with all the changes that have transpired in the game just over the last 50 years, pretty soon you may start having to build another layer of separation into some of the records. Dead ball era, for example.
I don't buy that. Babe Ruth was the only one using a live ball back then?
He called Frank Baker Home Run Baker, and he hit something like 13 home runs one year to lead the league.
Ralph kind of just reminded me one-time walks with base hits. I'd have loved to play then. I've been ducking all over the place.
2-2 to Hundley, pulled towards the hole, and Aurelia can't keep it from going through. McRae will stop at second now as Bonds bobbles it. McRae to third, and he's in there.
Good hustle by Brian McRae. Barry Bonds bobbled the ball, and he tried to get the ball in a hurry. McRae taking advantage of the error. Good reaction by Brian McRae, utilizing his speed. And here it is again. Base hit into left field. Barry Bonds bobbles it momentarily, but hustles to it. And McRae is able to take advantage of the error. Good base running by Brian McRae. Around second base, ball's in front of him. And he takes the chance, and he wins.
So because of the error, the 4th of the year committed by Bonds, the Mets now have the go-ahead run at third base in the person of McRae with Hundley on at first. Keep a couple of things in mind here, just in case Baerga hits it on the ground. You've got a slow runner at first. And as we mentioned before, Carlos Baerga prone to grounding into the double play. In fact, only a couple of hitters, Jeff Cirillo and Dante Bichette, in the entire National League have grounded into more double plays than Baerga, who's grounded into 17. So the infield set back at short and second. Baerga batting from the right side for the first time tonight after going 2 for 2, being hit by a pitch from the left side. And a strike to Carlos, 0-1. So who charged Bonds with the error? He did it. Red Foley. Tonight's scorer of the game brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes.
Red Foley and Barry Bonds. No settling that dispute.
Runners at the corners, 0-1 to Baerga with 1 out. Towards the hole. Kent will have to go to first. The Mets take the lead. Baerga retired, but on the run batted in by Carlos Baerga, it is 5-4 New York.
Baerga doing what Alfonso did last inning, making contact. And he got Kent to range far to his left to get the runner at first. But Hundley moves to second, and because of Barry Bonds' error, Brian McRae is able to score on a ground ball out. Baerga had to put it in play, and he did. And they just do get him at first base. Joe Carter making the grab, but Brian McRae scored the go-ahead run.
So for the first time tonight, the Mets have the lead. McRae 3 hits and 2 runs scored tonight. And Luis Lopez swings through a slider, 0-1.
You know, we talked about the most valuable player on the Giant Ball Club. And it's, a lot of people feel it's Rob Nin. Barry Bonds is an MVP, but Rob Nin this year might be the MVP in the Giants. He's been a dominating pitcher. As Ralph Kiner mentioned, you keep him out of the ball game with that run. You're going to get a pinch runner, and Lenny Harris pinch running for Todd Hundley. To beat the Giants, you got to keep Nin in the bullpen.
So Todd leaves the game with a single in 4 trips. And Lenny Harris will run for him and presumably stay in the game in left field. Todd congratulated. Remember, the hit came batting right-handed. His first right-handed base hit of the year. He was able to pull the ball through the hole, and when Bonds could not field it cleanly, to this point, that's the key play of the game because it enabled McRae to go to third from where he would score on the ground ball out by Baerga. 1 ball, 1 strike now on Lopez.
Dusty Baker still working that toothpick.
Outside with a fastball, 2-1 to Lopez. And Ray Ortiz out on deck. The pitcher Spot due up next. Turk Wendell pitched a 1-2-3 top of the 7th inning for New York. And the run the Mets have scored here belongs to his account. And Dennis Cook getting ready to work the 8th, if it comes down to that. And Lopez hits it deep to left field. Chasing Bonds to the warning track, and he can't come up with it. Harris scores, the ball in play as Lopez pulls into second. RBI double for Luis Lopez. And the Mets are leading 6-4.
Lopez hammering his ball over at Barry Bonds' head in left field. Lopez driving in another run, and it's 6-4 Mets. Barry Bonds playing that ball off the wall. But Lopez showing some power.
And he's being serenaded by chants of Barry from the crowd at Shea Stadium as Turk Wendell takes a ball.
It's been a while since we heard a chant like that with Darryl Strawberry.
He's done affectionately here in derisive fashion towards Barry Bonds now. Wendell fouls it off his leg, 1-1. So on a slow hit ground ball through the infield by Hundley. Bonds trying to make a bare hand pickup and play the ball back in, bobbled it. And that's how McRae got to third. There, McRae has scored. So is Harris running for Hundley. Dusty Baker's club has blown a 4-run lead. Wendell thinking about a bunt. He was almost halfway up the first baseline. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the aggressive Turk Wendell.
Wendell trying to drag a bunt. Look at the helmet. He couldn't see.
Makes contact. Kent gets to it. And Wendell retired. Well, you see Wendell hit the bag like that. You're thinking, I don't blow a hamstring or a calf muscle on a ground ball, because he'll be needed if, in fact, he comes in to pitch this inning. The Mets have taken the lead. Just for the Mets defensively as we go to the 8th inning now. Tony Phillips moves from right field to left field. Remember, Lenny Harris ran for Todd Hundley, who was playing left, so Harris will go in. And there is Lenny Harris now in right field. And taking over at shortstop for the Mets, Ray Ordonez. Turk Wendell remains in the game on the mound.
Oh, one of the stories here, Barry Bonds, the miscue in left field, allowing Brian McRae to go from second to third and then scoring on an infield out. But Bonds hustled after the ball. He just made an error. Considered the best left fielder in the game.
0-1 on Jeff Kent. One other change for the Mets defensively. Luis Lopez moves from shortstop to second base, replacing Carlos Baerga. Foul to the screen, 0-2. So you try figuring this game out. Everybody likes to look at things in absolute terms. For example, the Mets blew a 2-run lead with 2 out of the 9th inning on Friday. And the absolute assumption was that it would hinder them for days, maybe weeks to come. So what happens the next night? The Mets come from behind in the 9th inning to beat the Dodgers. 1-2 to Kent. And people are thinking, well, that's going to fuel the Mets to greater heights. So the next day they come out and beat up on the Dodgers. But last night they've got a 4-run lead in the middle of the game against the Dodgers. LA comes back to win. Tonight the Giants, first of a series, with a 4-run lead going to the bottom of the 6th inning. The Mets tied it in the 6th and have pulled ahead as we now move into the 8th inning. 6-4 New York. So what does all of those absolute assumptions total up? A whole lot of speculation, conjecture, and nothing. 2-2. Well, I mean, it's proof positive about 4 times over now in the last 5 days.
I go along with it.
And believe me, I was as guilty as anybody doing the talk radio thing all those years at WFAN.
You finally admitted it.
Well, because, we love to say this means that such and such is going to happen.
It means nothing.
Yeah, I mean, in truth, when you come out the next day and the total reverse of what was supposed to be, such a momentum changer takes place, then what was the real effect of the game before?
You had to talk about something.
You do a 5-hour show. And try not to think of something to talk about.
Well, you could change your mind within 5 hours.
And I did it often. The trick was not letting anybody figure it out. So right now it's 3-2 to Jeff Kent starting the 8th inning. Starting play tonight, the Giants were a game and a half in front of the Mets for the wild card. And the Mets were 3 behind the wild card leaders, if such a phrase is accurate, Chicago. Cubs have defeated Arizona 2-0 tonight. Payoff pitch to Kent. Ordonez just off the bench, and there's 1 man away. Ray Ordonez has a bad head cold. One of the reasons Bobby Valentine decided to sit him tonight for a while.
Ordonez ranging to his left, gloves the ball and comes up throwing. He makes this defense look easy.
Now, the error he made last night resulted in a conversation with Cookie Rojas. After the game, Cookie just sat down with him and reminded him about the importance of getting 1 out in the situation the Mets were in at that time.
Cookie really knows this game of baseball. He told me early in the year that the Mets would be in the top 3 in defense before the year is out.
Charlie Hayes pops one up to the infield. Ordonez takes charge. Wendell's retired 5 in a row. 2 men outs in the 8th inning. So Turk Wendell has every right to consider this something of an audition. It's been a long time since he came up with a win, and they were coming often in the first 12 days of the season. All 3 of his wins taking place between March 31st, which was opening day when he won, and April 12th. Turk's auditioning perhaps for some more responsibility here. And he throws a slider past Joe Carter. 0-1. Slider that hung in the strike zone a little bit.
Just goes to show you, not all hangers are hammered.
Carter fouls this one off, and so advantage Wendell. 0-2. And badly does he want success tonight?
A lot of animation tonight on the mountain. There's Wendell, same as Leiter.
You didn't have to read his lips. You could hear him yelling, "Ray, Ray." And on virtually any ball hit into the air in this ballpark, even some to the outfield, the pitchers are yelling, "Ray, Ray." Fans wanted to yell "Rah, Rah" for Wendell, but he didn't get the call from home plate ump Kerwin Danley.
And that last pitch, Joe Carter.
I suppose a veteran hitter of Carter's stature will occasionally get a call like that. Just a touch below the knees. And he missed outside with a slider. 2-2.
Hey, if you took all the highlights of Carter's home runs over the course of his career, you would label him a low ball, fastball hitter. Every time you look at a highlight show, maybe showing footage of a Joe Carter home run, it was down below his belt.
2-2 to Carter. Rolled towards Lopez. And Turk Wendell pitches 2 perfect innings. Just when the Met bullpen needed something, Wendell gave it to them. To the last of the 8th inning, the Mets having come from 4 runs behind to take the lead. Giants will have a new first baseman, J.T. Snow, taking over on the mound, John Johnstone. Johnstone becoming the 3rd Giants pitcher tonight. He's from Liverpool, you know. Big Beatles fan.
So is Howie Rowe.
Well, yeah, but I mean, top of the Mets order in the 8th inning. 6 runs, 12 hits, no errors for New York. 4 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Giants. Tony Phillips doubled in a run in the 6th inning. Phillips 1 for 4. And Johnstone starts him off with a fastball up and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Phillips gets under it, but this one should reach the seats behind third base. Really the shortstop over for a look. But it's 1-1 now on Tony Phillips.
You know, it's funny when you look at Tony Phillips, who's been a productive hitter throughout his career. He looks at, he has all the mechanics of a power hitter. And on the other side of the field, when you look at Barry Bonds' mechanics at the plate, he has the mechanics of just a singles hitter. Doesn't have that much movement at the plate. You take a look at Tony Phillips, he has a lot of movement. That back foot, the weight on that back leg.
2-1 now on Tony. At what point, mechanically unsound though it might look, do you just say, listen, it's his comfort level, leave him alone? I mean, if he were a kid in a stance like that, they'd probably try and make a million changes.
You're absolutely right. Just leave him alone. Let, you know, when somebody goes out there, there's nothing absolute in baseball. You see all kinds of different approaches to hitting, throwing a ball, catching a ball. Don't mess with success.
And the 3-1 pitch on the inside corner.
Well, somebody told Tony Phillips when he was a youngster, make sure you keep your weight back. And he does.
Because Bagwell has that unusual stance where it almost looks like he's crouching in the batter's box.
How would you like to mess with Bagwell now as Tony Phillips walks? Jeff Bagwell has the most unorthodox stride I've ever seen. We've seen strides, short strides, long strides, and Jeff Bagwell has a stride where his front foot goes backwards.
Well, now Edgardo Alfonzo will take a good long look at Cookie Rojas to see if Bobby Valentine puts a play on here. The Mets with a 2-run lead, and Phillips drawing the leadoff walk, doing exactly what the Mets want him to do tonight. For example, been on base twice in 5 trips. Compute that out mathematically. That's a 400 on base percentage. 1-0 to Alfonso. That's what the real good on base percentage hitters will do. Get on base about 40% of the time or more. Phillips with good speed. Alfonso, pretty good contact hitter. Mets already ahead by 2. Do you put him in motion?
Yeah, and as they get more comfortable, the Mets with Phillips, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of hitting behind Phillips from Alfonso.
Phillips running. Alfonso on weak offering, and Phillips gets in there.
Jeff Kent missed the tag. Ball beat him. Nice throw by Brent Maine. He got the ball down to Jeff Kent. And we've seen it a lot this year, how important the tag is. You got to stay away from the sweep tag. You got to use the slap tag. And here's Phillips with the hit and run. He realized, I'm a dead duck. He slides in, and you see the sweep tag. Kent going down right here. He misses him because of the sweep tag. If he goes down with the slap tag, he gets him. But the sweep tag misses him, and you really have to applaud second base umpire Jeff Nelson for the call because the ball beat the runner.
So a break for the Mets as Phillips winds up in scoring position with nobody out.
And the reason the umpires are really on top of these calls now, because of a camera shot that we just saw. That was a great shot.
Giants have been thrilled at what Jeff Kent has given them. And on that play, the Mets benefit. And a breaking ball, tapped foul by Alfonso, 1-2. Alfonso did most of what he could to protect the runner, but that pitch was so well off the plate. Other than throw his bat, there was really nothing else Alfonso could do, and the ball beat Phillips by a pretty good margin.
He'll end up doing that as time goes on, throwing the bat at the ball to protect the runner on a hit and run. You could see Phillips looking towards the plate, seeing whether or not Alfonso made contact.
Now Alfonso hits it in the air. Sean Dunston in center field makes the catch. Phillips draws the throw.
I think Dunston's going to like center field. He likes to throw. He's got a great arm. Everybody in baseball knows it. That's why Phillips held his ground.
Well, he used to have to make that hard throw from the shortstop hole quite a few times during the course of a game. Now he can air it out less frequently in the outfield. And Dunston showed he still has a lot of giddy-up on that arm. So with 1 out, here's Olerud, the hitting streak at 18 games now. Pair of singles in 4 trips. First base open, Piazza on deck. 6-4 New York, we're in the 8th. And a breaking ball, 0-1. And 2 now as Johnstone gets the fastball over. Phillips trying to give the Mets a little bit more insurance than the 2-run cushion they have now. He walked and stole second. Johnstone, the 3rd Giant pitcher, checks, deals, and Olerud bounces it up the middle. Kent's play is to first, and a good pick by the smooth fielding first baseman J.T. Snow. So Phillips at 3rd with 2 out. Here's Piazza. Piazza has walked twice. He's flied to center and grounded to short in 4 plate appearances. I think Piazza's going to get a chance to hit with first base open. Johnstone and the Giants will intentionally walk Piazza, even with a hot-hitting Brian McRae on deck. Ball came back out towards the plate a little bit. So they'll complete the intentional walk to Mike Piazza, who will have been walked for the 3rd time.
And the big rivalry, one of the big rivalries in baseball, the Giants and the Dodgers. And the Giants still reacting to that old Dodger, Mike Piazza. Now we'll take a look at our Coors Light play of the game. And it was a big one. It was a base hit off the bat of Todd Hundley. Brian McRae was on his way to second base when the ball was bobbled by Barry Bonds, who hustled after it. McRae hustled into third base, and he was able to score on a ground out. Good reaction by Brian McRae. The only reason he was able to score the go-ahead run on a ground out is because he hustled to third base. And Barry Bonds hustled after the ball.
McRae, 3 hits in the game. Fouls it off, 0-1. I wonder if the Mets can interpret what Dusty Baker, and he probably would have done the same thing with Todd Hundley, given the struggles that Todd's had, might have sent the Mets tonight. Piazza's been walked 3 times. This one was intentional, even though the one in the first inning, the runner on first base, took place in a scenario where Piazza didn't get a whole lot to hit, nor did he when he was walked to lead off the 4th. And if McRae continues to burn pitchers after Piazza is walked, that'll make Mike Piazza a little happier because he'll get better pitches to hit. Both Phillips and Piazza are on via base on balls in this inning. See Snow playing behind the runner with 2 out. And McRae pops it up behind the plate. Brent Mayne chucks the mask. And this one's on the screen. So 1-2 to McRae with 2 outs. If you want to look ahead to the top of the 9th inning, the Giants will be scheduled to send up the bottom third of their order. Brent Mayne, Rich Aurelia, and J.T. Snow now hitting in the number 9 spot after Dusty Baker made the double switch. John Franco's been throwing in the bullpen, and in all likelihood will come on to pitch the 9th inning. 1-2 with 2 men out. And somebody just threw a tennis ball out of the grandstand. One-two pitch. Got him. Johnstone went upstairs with a fastball. McRae tipped it, but Mayne held on. So will the Mets attempt to hold on as John Franco will try and nail it down.
Here themselves than they have in the past. You see John Franco's record: 0-6, 4.35 ERA, 21 saves. That's his favorite stat. Now, looking at some of the footage here today, Hank Greenberg and Sandy Koufax, how old the footage is. We showed the footage of Ron Swoboda's home run. It's amazing. Before the ball game, talking about the interactive television down in the field, about the Rangers and the Knicks coming up this winter. It should be quite a thing.
So John Franco will try and bridge that gap. Not that they were all black and white when John started pitching. They had color televisions back then.
It's amazing how the people are really looking forward to this high-definition TV.
Well, the Mets are looking for a save here from Franco in his first appearance since the contract extension having been signed, and Stan Javier will be a pinch hitter for Brent Mayne. So the veteran Stan Javier takes a fastball on the outside corner. And John signing as much as a reward for what he's done as anything else.
A new 2-year contract for John Franco, and John was talking about staying in shape. I know during the offseason, an opportunity to interview John Franco, and we would meet him here at Shea Stadium after a long day's workout.
On the inside corner, so fastball away, fastball in, and quickly it's 0-2 to Javier.
Here comes the dead fish. See if he bounces it. Dead fish.
Olerud grabs it, 1 man away. So Franco has the first down here in the 9th inning. Take a look at our Delta Airlines upcoming schedule. 2 more games coming up in this series with the Giants.
And tomorrow, 7:30, right here on Fox Sports New York, and then Thursday at noon. Keep in mind the noon start. If you can't make it out, there are seats available for tomorrow night and Thursday afternoon's game. If you can't make it out here to Shea, catch all the action on Fox Sports New York. And then again on Friday, we'll be coming to you from Colorado. Fox Network does Saturday and Channel 9 Sunday.
Rich Aurelia 1 for 2, walked intentionally, hits it deep to left field. Phillips on the run. Phillips will have to play it off the wall. Aurelia on his way to second, and as the ball's played back in, and it's a one-out double for Rich Aurelia, and Franco will now have to face the tying run in J.T. Snow.
Well, Aurelia getting a pitch to hit when John Franco's up in the count, and Aurelia driving the ball to left field and picking up a double. Tony Phillips chasing that ball down, and now J.T. Snow batting from the right side of the plate will face John Franco.
Snow does not hit much right-handed, either for average or opportunities. Snow, a switch hitter, used mostly against right-hand batting, or I should say against right-hand pitching. As a right-hand hitter, batting just 167. And the change in the dirt, 1-0. Dusty Baker trying to will his team to come from behind, as the Mets did when they were trailing 4-0. Bouncing ball through the hole. Around third, Aurelia. He's being waved home. He scores. Ball played back in, and it's now a 6-5 Met lead. So Franco gives up a double to Aurelia, and then J.T. Snow, who does not hit well as a right-hand batter, delivers a run. Remember now, Franco's last outing resulted in a loss on Friday night.
And J.T. Snow taking that ball that was out over the plate and turning on it and driving the ball in the hole between third and short. Rich Aurelia coming around to score the 5th run of the ball game for the Giants.
To 5 New York. Dunston 0 for 3. He's been hit by a pitch. Olerud playing in front of the runner at first as Franco misses low. 1-0. Mike Piazza's going to go out to the mound and try to slow Franco down.
This is a situation when you have a veteran like John Franco who's been through the wars for so many years. Not much you can say. John Franco just has to get the hitters out. You know what you're going to get from John if you're managing John, if you're playing against him? No secrets.
Dunston's hit Franco well in his career, 6 out of 19 against him. J.T. Snow leads from first. And a grounder left side. Ordonez goes the short way and gets the force. Good play by Ordonez, who had to cover the ground to his right and then make the play at second base.
Yeah, that's a good play because Ordonez has to get to that ball after Alfonso's unable to get to it. And then when he was throwing the ball, his right foot gave out. Should say the dirt underneath the right foot. Now watch Ordonez. See that? Off balance throw. Perfect throw over to Luis Lopez to get the force. This guy's unbelievable at shortstop. I mean, when he's falling down, he looks like he's in complete control of his body.
He was able to maintain control just as his footing was disappearing. But the Mets aren't out of this yet. Ellis Burks, 2 for 3 with a walk. And the change missed. 1 ball, no strikes. Burks only 0 for 3 in his career against John Franco. So the Mets with a 1-run lead with 2 outs in the 9th inning. Dunston still decent speed at first, and Franco checks him back. Olerud continuing to play in front of the runner with a left-hand pitcher on the mound. It'll be a 1-0 pitch to Burks. And the count even. Dusty Baker hoping that Ellis Burks with Dunston on first could get it into Barry Bonds' hands as Bonds waits on deck.
And Bonds is one of those hitters that can really deliver in the clutch. You get some guys that are pretty good players that have trouble in the clutch, but Bonds relishes that opportunity.
Time call. No pitch. Time had been called by the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley. On the day he signs a 2-year contract extension, a sticky situation develops. He had a 2-run lead entering the 9th. Now it's 1, and they've got the runner picked off. Oh! Ordonez drops the ball. This game was over. It was plain and simple. They had Dunston picked off, but Olerud's throw was dropped by Ordonez. And for all the spectacular plays, perhaps the simplest of plays, puts the Mets in a quandary.
Yeah, simple catch. And we've seen Ordonez do it so many times. Ball hit off his glove. And I'm sure that's devastating to a pitcher because everybody knows how good Ordonez is with his glove. I'm not sure what type of an angle the throw was coming from with the runner bearing down on Ordonez. But it looked like he had a clear view. This is a better angle. Yeah, he had a clear view, really. All he had to do is catch that ball, make the tag.
They're in the clubhouse now.
Yeah.
It's that simple to play. So now the Mets are going to have to try to bail Ordonez out, as he's done to them so often. Outside 2-1. And remember, if it comes down to Franco facing Bonds, it was a Bonds error, which turned out to be the key play in the 7th inning when the Mets scored 2 runs to break a 4-4 tie. The 2-1 to Burks. Oh, the crowd at Shea will rise and hope that Franco can close this thing out. If he can, the Mets will be a half game behind the Giants in the wild card race. Keep in mind the teams are even as of this second of the loss column. So the Mets would have an advantage there. But Franco's work is not done yet. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Tying run at second, Barry Bonds on deck. Piazza kept it close enough so that Dunston would not take any chances.
When you catch John Franco, you got to use your glove like a shovel. Mike Piazza kept that ball in front of him as Steve Phillips looks on. Dusty Baker looks on.
Franco will have a payoff pitch. Outside. It'll come down to Bonds.
Well, if you're a baseball fan, you're going to love this game. Barry Bonds, who made a critical error in this ball game, will now take on John Franco. And they've done it many times before with Franco winning 6 for 29. But you know what? It doesn't matter in a situation like this.
Older players, but still decent speed on the base paths. Dunston at second and Burks at first. You saw the numbers for Franco against Bonds, which favor Franco historically. And he starts him off with a fastball, 0-1. Bonds in this game singled in 2 runs in the 3rd inning. All he has to show for 4 trips. outfield, a step towards right. The infield back. Bonds did not go around 1-1 on that infield. Priority number one is to just keep the ball on the infield. Make sure that the runner at second, Sean Dunston, could get no further than third if Bonds hits one in the hole. Then worry about first base. And now it's 1-2.
A classic duel between two veterans. You gotta love this.
Well, if you spend your money and come out to the ballpark on a gorgeous night, why not have it come down to this?
I wonder if that's the same toothpick that Dusty was using in the first inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 out. And they'll do it again.
Bonds will do everything to try to relax himself. You can see them taking a deep breath, not only Barry Bonds, but John Franco.
Showing you the alignment. Of course, Ordonez's error, the reason we're still playing. There's no breeze at all, so anything hit in the air will not be affected by the wind. And the 1-2 pitch. And a looper, it's going to drop in. The game is going to be tied. Here comes Dunston on his way to third is Burks. The Giants have tied it with 2 in the 9th inning off of John Franco.
And keep in mind that 207 batting average. 6 for 29 against John Franco. And Barry Bonds gets a base hit. It was a classic duel between two veterans, and Bonds' error was the reason the Mets were able to go ahead in this ball game. So now, and Ordonez's error was the reason this game's still going on. 2 of the best at their positions defensively, Barry Bonds and Ray Ordonez. So now John Franco takes on Jeff Kent with a base open.
Second base, Charlie Hayes is on deck. And the first delivery, again, Piazza has to keep it in front of him. So in fairness to Franco, yes, Ordonez did commit the error, but John's also given up 3 hits and a walk.
Here's the base hit. See John Franco's reaction. You saw Barry Bonds' reaction. There's John Franco's.
Bonds got the chance to atone for his error. Dennis Cook had been throwing earlier in this inning in the bullpen. Bob Appodaca on the phone. Might well be getting back up. Barry Bonds saying, don't worry about me.
Oh, Barry Bonds might go out and steal second base.
Off the plate, 2-0.
Right now, Barry could steal second base, and a base hit would drive in 2 runs.
Tried to check his swing. Ordonez goes the short way, and the side retired. So Ordonez made the error, but Franco allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, walked a batter. Bonds delivered to get the Giants even. This is in the game as a new pitcher. It depends on who's coming out of the game. If Ellis Burks is staying in this game in center field, he's not going to hit second, where the Mets probably figured that he would originally. The pitcher was batting 6th. Right now they've got Mesa slotted in the 6th hole. So Burke stays in the game in right. More importantly, the Mets finally get to bat in the last of the 9th inning, which wasn't their plan in the first place. Starting the top of the inning with a 2-run lead.
Now he doesn't know any more about it than Dusty, does he? Are you kidding? That was a great reaction. I can't believe Dusty's doing that.
Lenny Harris bounces it foul. J.T. Snow tried to pull that into fair territory and have a play at first base.
When you came to the ball game as a kid, did you keep score?
Oh, yeah, I didn't feel like I was in the game if I wasn't keeping score. Although with this situation here in the 9th inning, I'm not so sure I'm in it right now. Even the scoreboard here doesn't have it all figured out, so this poor guy can't look up at the scoreboard and make sense of it.
He did. He took a look at it, and his reaction was, I don't believe it. Thus, he's not going to share it.
And on the off-speed pitch, Harris behind Mesa now, ball and 2 strikes. Now, they've got it figured out now. Sean Dunston, who was playing center field, comes out of the game. So with Dunston out of the game, and Burks, Bonds, and Kent still in it, the pitcher, you would think, is going to bat first. Keep him as far away from batting as possible. 2-2 to Harris.
This has been a pretty good acquisition by the Giants, picking up Mesa. He needed a change of scenery. He still throws the ball about 94 miles an hour. They got Mesa and Nin, both closers from the World Series last year.
A chopper. Harris busting it down the line, and he beats it out. An infield hit for Lenny Harris.
We've seen Lenny Harris do that a few times since joining the Mets.
So the winning run on Ordonez in a sacrifice situation coming up.
And the old Baltimore chop. And Jeff Kent could only shuffle the ball to first, but Harris with good speed beating the throw. Another angle. JT Snow trying to steal it the way, if you watch his back foot, the way he pulled it off the base in a hurry, he knew Lenny Harris was going to beat the throw. He tried to decoy the first base umpire, Jim Quick.
Ordonez likely to be bunting. That's certainly the way the Giants play it on the infield as they charge from the corners. Pitch a strike, 0-1. Remember, Ordonez's error, the key play now, following the error made by Bonds, which took place in the 7th inning. Ordonez catches the throw to first from Olerud. This game's over.
2 Gold Glove winners. Barry Bonds a Gold Glove winner. Ray Ordonez a Gold Glove winner.
Chops the bunt fair. That'll get the runner over. So a Baltimore chop bunt gets the job done. Ordonez pushes the winning run. Lenny Harris in the scoring position. And Luis Lopez will be the batter.
Well, Ray Ordonez needed to get the job done. He had to bunt Harris into scoring position. And he bunts the ball. It's off the plate. And Harris moves to second base. As soon as the ball is bunted, Harris get a good jump. And JT Snow knows the speed of Lenny Harris. He only had 1 play, and that was to first base.
So Harris the winning run at second. Lopez has 2 for 4. He drove in a run with a double in the 7th inning. 0-1 now to Louis. Lopez started the game at shortstop, moved over to second when Ordonez came into it. A couple of Baltimore chops in this inning have conspired to put the winning run on second base. Fouled away, 0-2. Remember, Mesa throws very, very hard. Jackson moving the Giant outfielders in a couple of steps. And Mesa yields Harris back to second. Mesa ahead 0-2 with 1 out. And Lopez goes down swinging.
Nasty pitch from Mesa. Lopez swinging right over the top.
So now we'll have to go after a pinch hitter as Franco will come out of the game.
Watch this ball drop. Boom, right out of the strike zone. Lopez going out, starting to swing, unable to hold up.
George Fabregas will be the pinch hitter for John Franco here in the 9th inning. Fabregas 0 for 1 as a Met since coming over from Arizona in the Bernard Gilkey deal. Outfield takes a couple of steps farther back now than they were for Lopez. It's 1-0 to Fabregas. And the 1-0 pitch evens the count. Bobby Valentine's Mets were 4 runs down. Tied the game in the 6th inning. Scored 2 in the 7th to take the lead as they did into the 9th inning. Franco couldn't hold it because Bonds beat him with a base hit to tie it. 2-0 to Fabregas, and again Mesa wheels Harris back. And the 2-0 pitch fouled away. Bobby Valentine's out of pinch hitters now. Means Piazza better stay in one piece. Three balls, 1 strike.
And Tony Phillips on deck.
Fabregas a catcher. As is Piazza. As is, of course, Todd Hundley, but he's not even a factor to think about catching. The guy on the left is Todd Pratt. He's been used. He had a 2-run single. Matt Franco, an emergency catcher, is out of the game. Never got to the plate after being announced as a pinch hitter. So the 3-1 to Fabregas, and it was gas. So the count full. Mesa trying to pitch this game into extra innings. Harris led off with an infield hit, sacrificed to second by Ordonez, and Lopez struck out. Now the count full on Fabregas, trying to make an early impression in his Met career. Payoff pitch, and Fabregas goes down. So we'll go to extra innings. Yep. From virtually every angle it looked simple as can be. So now we go to the 10th inning. Bonds hit tied it, and Charlie Hayes will lead off against Dennis Cook, who takes over from John Franco. So a blown save for Franco, and now Dennis Cook becomes the 4th Met pitcher. Leiter started, then Wendell, Franco, and Cook. Wendell was perfect, getting 6 outs in the 7th and 8th innings. Slowly hit. Alfonso has time, and there's 1 out. Charlie Hayes wasn't exactly busting it down the line. So Cook takes care of Hayes for the 1st out. And Marvin Bernard, the right fielder, will be next. Dennis Cook got into last night's game. Did not throw much, only threw 12 pitches, working a 1/3 of an inning. He was taking over for Greg McMichael. 0-1 now to Marvin Bernard. Bernard on a 5-game hitting streak. Hit leadoff during the series in Philadelphia. Darrell Hamilton was the leadoff hitter until the Ellis-Burks trade. Had 4 hits in yesterday's game, Bernard did, but as you could see, a left-hand batter, and did not start the game because the Mets had a left-hander, Al Leiter, on the mound. He has been fantastic on this current Giant road trip with 13 hits in 21 at-bats. Giants lost 2 out of 3 at Montreal before sweeping the Phillies. And the 1-1 pitch fouled away. Well, Cook ahead, 1-2. This is not a pinch hitting appearance for Bernard against Dennis Cook, as Bernard was one of the multitude of switches made by Dusty Baker. It took a while to get it all straightened out, but Bernard's having an outstanding season off the bench with 10 pinch hits.
And the Giants have had trouble with Cook in the past.
Cook even on Bernard, 2-2 with 1 out of the 10th inning. 6-6 the score.
Now both teams are in a zone where it's going to be tough to digest a loss.
Bobby Valentine figured he was all set when he got 6 outs out of Turk Wendell in the 7th and the 8th inning. But then Dusty Baker saw his Giants come back against Franco in the 9th inning with the help of the Ordonez error. And the 2-2 to Bernard, foul to the screen.
And it was a classic duel when Fonz got to the plate and muscled the ball into right field. He really has not had big success against John Franco, and John jammed him.
And Bernard continues to make Cook work. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fran mentioned the success that Cook's had against the Giants in the past. He's 4-1 lifetime, and the left-hand, even with a left-hand batter, Marvin Bernard. See Olerud at first. Alfonso, the third baseman, playing pretty close to the line. And the 2-2 pitch upstairs. So Bernard, making Cook work, has run the count full. Second game of this 3-game series tomorrow, when Bobby Jones faces Russ Ortiz. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports New York at 7:40. And the payoff pitch. Line. Over comes Harris. And an outstanding play by Lenny Harris. Bernard hit it hard, and Harris had to get there in a hurry. So put a circle around that grab by Lenny Harris, 2 men away.
Oh, Harris had to move to his left. I mean, nice catch. Other angle, makes the catch and hits the turf.
And even the degree of difficulty as it was the read of the ball, the first step to the ball, because that ball was hit hard.
Yeah, Bernard really hit that ball. Hit it good.
2 out, nobody on. Doug Mirabelli, the Giant catcher, took over for Brent Maine in the 9th inning. 0-1 to Mirabelli. Just called him up 10 days ago. Brian Johnson got hurt. Mets don't mind not seeing Brian Johnson in this series. He has killed the Mets in the past. on the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes.
Let's see Cook's reaction to the catch by Lenny Harris. Bernard hitting the ball hard. And Cook said that's an easy now.
So Cook deals 1-2, and he got him. And as Cook gets Doug Mirabelli looking, and the Giants go in order in the 10th. Tony Phillips, Edgardo Alfonzo, and John Olerud, the top of the order for the Mets against Jose Mesa, starting his 2nd inning of work for San Francisco. Phillips made 5 trips to the plate. He's been on twice. Also drew a walk, along with that 1 for 4. So Tony Phillips leading off against Jose Mesa. Giants have to be concerned about the possibility of a bunt from Phillips. Shows no inclination there, although they do have the 3rd baseman Charlie Hayes in on the grass. Aurelia, Kent, J.T. Snow at normal depth. Snow even with a bag. In the outfield, a step the other way against Phillips. Up and away, 2-0. Now, if you're Phillips and you're in a tie game and it's the 10th inning, do you take a strike here? Ahead in the count, 2-0.
He's the prototypical leadoff hitter.
And he's hit Mesa well.
Let him swing.
2 schools of thought. He'll get something hittable 2-0.
That's right.
Or he'll simply take a strike.
And this guy's got a lot of years in the big leagues as a leadoff hitter.
Got jammed. 2-1. Oh, he was hacking.
Mets got him to get on base. Here he is leading off in the bottom of the 10th.
A fresh piece of lumber for Phillips after breaking his bat on that jam job by Jose Mesa. It's the crack rat. Crack bats go in one area, right?
And then they
tape them up, donate them,
and the money goes to charity.
So 2-1 to Phillips. Base hit to center. The winning run is on with nobody out. So for the 2nd straight inning against Jose Mesa, the Mets have had the leadoff man on. In the 9th, Ordonez sacrificed the base runner Lenny Harris along. Now we'll see what Alfonzo does here with Phillips aboard. Phillips has been on base 3 times tonight in 6 plate appearances.
And once again, a situation where Alfonzo can handle the bat. Phillips can run. He's looking right over his shoulder, making sure that Phillips is getting all the signs from Cookie Rojas.
Hayes on the grass at 3rd. Snow charging from first. The ball gets past Mirabelli. And down to 2nd goes Phillips. The winning run in scoring position with nobody out.
Well, do you still bunt them over, or do you take 3 shots at driving them home? You got Oler and Piazza right there. Bobby Valentine, I think, is telling Alfonzo, swinging the bat, hit it to the right side. You get the ideal man at the plate who can hit it to the right side. You got Olerud and Piazza to follow Alfonzo. Howie mentioned a few moments ago the big double against the Dodgers.
That was off of Jeff Shaw on Saturday night.
Alfonzo, a good hitter.
Well, the question is now for Dusty Baker, do you pinch the corners as he had on the first pitch? With Alfonzo now a little more likely to swing the bat.
Well, I'd let him swing the bat.
I agree with you. So good at hitting it the other way anyhow. That could get Phillips over. Alfonzo shows bunt, pulls it back.
Well, you're going to move Phillips to third with the bunt. Dusty Baker's going to walk Olerud and Piazza.
And you'd have Brian McRae with the bases loaded if it evolves that way. Alfonso, remember Alfonso bunted on his own with 2 strikes not long ago. Dusty Baker has J.T. Snow in tight at first. Hayes a step on the grass at third. And Alfonso, showing no inclination to bunt, takes it 2-1. To Alfonso. Nobody out, winning run at second. And it's sliced foul, the count even.
Funny, Mason knows Alfonso wants to hit the ball the other way, so he's busting him in with hard stuff. And it's tough to move Mason's fastball the other way if he's throwing you inside. I think that Alfonso should just swing the bat, not worry about going to the right side. If it's out there, do it. Or if it's inside, pull it.
It's inside, and the count's full.
Alfonso has the ability to sting the ball into the gap in left center field. If you have to alter your swing, it's tough.
Three balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Outfield around towards right. And the payoff pitch, sliced hard and foul.
He took a shot to right field there. Now, we talked about the winning hit against the Dodgers, Jeff Shaw. Well, Edgardo Alfonso hit the ball hard as we flash back against the Dodgers. And look what Alfonso does. In the gap, left center field, driving in the winning run. Todd Hundley scoring against the Dodgers. Huge hit for Alfonso. Finds himself in the same situation right now.
Jose Mesa in his second inning of work. 3-2 to Alfonso. Phillips leads from second. Breaking ball high.
And that was tempting. It looked like Alfonso still wanted to take a rip at that breaking ball. But he held off, and runners are now on first and second for John Olerud.
Very, very rarely will you see Bobby Valentine ask Olerud to bunt. If Olerud were to sacrifice, unlikely though it might be, you'd lose Piazza anyway, because almost certainly the Giants would walk him to load the bases, and then you've got McRae in a bases-loaded spot. Of course, Olerud is slow. Should he hit the ball on the ground, there's always the potential the Giants turn a double play on the infield. Olerud in this game extending his hitting streak to 18. Inside with a hard slider, 1-0.
And I'm sure Olerud has a history with Mesa from the American League as Dusty Baker continues to chew on that toothpick.
So Tony Phillips, the runner at second, represents the winning run, but by no means is Alfonso just window dressing. He's in a position where he's got to get down there and bust up a double play if the ball's hit on the ground. So Alfonso's run may not mean anything, but he's still very important. And a ground ball through the hole, a base hit. Here comes Phillips. He's going to be held up by Rojas. The throw comes into Snow from Marvin Bernard.
And there's no place to hook Piazza now.
So the bases loaded with nobody out, and Piazza with a golden opportunity to win it for New York. Nobody throwing in the Giant bullpen. So Dusty Baker talked things over with Jose Mesa, the rest of the Giant infield. 3 hits tonight for Olerud.
And here's the third one of the night for the Met first baseman. With that picture-perfect swing, hitting the ball in the hole. And he was checking it out to see if Phillips would score. Watch him take a look at Phillips. base hit. Well, we didn't see it right there. He takes a quick glance at Tony Phillips, but Phillips had a hold on at third base. And you see Phillips busting at the third, but Rojas holding him up.
So the Giants going to have to move the infield and the outfield in for Piazza. He's walked 3 times, once intentionally. He also flied to center and grounded to short. Phillips at third, Alfonso at second, Olerud at first. 6-6 game here in the last of the 10th inning. Anything on the ground, the Giants will come home. Remember, the outfield shallow. Nothing at 1. As much as Mike Piazza has pressed recently, he's got so much going for him in this at-bat with the infield in, the outfield in, even a medium-range fly ball or normal fly ball from Piazza would most likely win the game, and bail Ordonez out after the error.
All he has to do is make contact, get it up in the air.
First meeting ever between Mesa and Piazza. Mesa and Mirabelli are going to have to go over the signs again.
Either Mesa doesn't want to throw it.
Well, how do you figure the mood now? As much as Piazza could be accused of pressing, the way the deck is stacked for him here, can you relax when the game's on the line? I mean, the infield's in, the outfield's in. The way he makes contact, he's got more chances to win the game now than he would had they been playing at normal depth. So the 0-1. Chopper, the play will be to the plate. They've got one back to first. Piazza beats it. So Piazza hitting it on the ground to shortstop. Aurelia came home, and that's 1 out. Right now, the Mets' hottest RBI man, Brian McRae, will be the batter.
Piazza hitting a ball, hitting a chopper to short, and busting it down to first base, just beating the throw. Once again, you see Piazza just beating the throw. They get the force at the plate of really getting that ball home in a hurry.
So now it's McRae. He's had 3 hits. He's struck out twice. Now it's Alfonso, the winning run at third, with Olerud at second. Piazza at first. Alfonso trying to distract Mesa, which is why he stepped off. Eduardo Alfonso dashed a few feet down the line.
That should never distract the pitcher in a stretch.
Infield and outfield still in. Breaking ball, slowly hit. Again, the play to the plate. Out there. And the bases remain loaded. Now there are 2 men away. All Bobby Valentine needed was a big hit from either Piazza or McRae. Neither could deliver. And so now with 2 out, it'll be up to Lenny Harris.
Lenny Harris.
Baerga can't even bear to watch. Lenny Harris had a Baltimore chop single to lead off the 9th inning. The Mets had the bases loaded, nobody out. Piazza and McRae couldn't get it done. Let's see if Harris can win it. Now the infield drops back, as does the outfield, and Mesa starts him off with a slider, 1-0.
Mesa wanted that pitch. That was a borderline pitch. Nasty breaking ball from Mesa.
Mets have already left 12 men on base. That's through 9 innings, and they've got 3 on board here. A 1-0 to Harris. In the dirt. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. The Mets trailed 4-0. They tied it in the 6th. They scored 2 in the 7th, but the Giants scored 2 in the 9th to tie the game. The Mets had the bases loaded, nobody out here in the 10th. They're still loaded, now there are 2 out. And the 2-0 to Harris. Inside!
All right, 3-0 now on Harris.
I'm taking a strike.
You said that in a nervous fashion.
Yeah, because it's not me down there.
Just think if you
As long
were
as you
down there.
asked, I thought I'd answer. Olerud trying to distract Mesa. It'll be a 3-0 with the bases loaded. And it's on the inside corner.
All right, he just took 3-0.
I wouldn't think he would take here.
I'll tell you.
Mesa's got to be around the plate.
Oh, yeah, he's got to throw the strike. That there was a borderline strike. That could have been called a ball.
Erwin Danley, the home plate umps, enjoying the tension too much. 3-1 to Harris with 2 out and the bases loaded. Time called at the plate. Pratt drove in a couple in the 6th inning with a pinch hit single. 3-1 to Harris.
Taking all the way. He was taking all the way.
Erwin Danley taking every split second available to make the call, too.
I bet Harris took that on his own.
So, unless there's a foul ball, we'll finally know if the Mets are going to win this or we'll play an 11th inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bases loaded. Mesa deals. And the Mets win it.
So he worked him for a walk. He took 3-0. He took 3-1. It went to 3-2. And Mesa walks in the winning run.
Whatever it takes, they're saying as they pile out of the Met dugout. Dusty Baker's the one who has the deeper bullpen. But his bullpen failed him in a couple of ways tonight. Really, the Mets did once when John Franco couldn't close it out of the 9th inning. An error included in there as well, but Wendell was terrific in relief, pitching 2 perfect innings. Dennis Cook pitched a perfect 10th to get the win.